Hey guys, this is WalterFootball.com After Dark Show for March 24, 2024. That's kind of a mouthful of a date. We're going to be talking about the
Off
L'Jarius
to a great
Sneed.
start.
Yeah, right. We're going to be talking about the L'Jarius Sneed trade, how it went for the Titans and the Chiefs. Some other signings that went through, a couple old ones, but we finally got contract details on those. So going to discuss those briefly. Also want to share. I wasn't even planning on this until the thought popped in my head when I sent out the link to Tom to talk about this. But I wanted to share some finalist submissions that I have for my book cover. And like there are, in my opinion, and you guys maybe could tell me that these suck or they're all great, or I want to hear your opinion on them. But I think some of these are phenomenal, and I really can't decide between them. So hopefully we get some feedback on that. I am leaning in a certain direction, but I'm not going to lead the witness here. I'm just going to let you guys tell me what you guys think is best. So any opinions on those are appreciated. And then, of course, Game of Thrones rewatch for me, watch for the first time for Tom for season 1, episode 8 and 9. If you're familiar with Game of Thrones, episode 9 is always the big one. Season 1, episode 9 is called Baylor, and that has to do with an extremely important death. We'll discuss that when we get to the end of the show. All right, so we're joined by Quacky T. Tom, thanks for joining us once again on Saturday. How are you?
I'm good, Walt. Here we are again. The Game of Thrones is starting to get good. We've got some trades and probably some futures at some point to discuss. And Nashville Predators won again today. So for those of you that have been following the future, that I'm really high on the Nashville Predators to win the Stanley Cup. They're red hot right now. I think they've had points in about 13 or 14 straight games. They won a game today that I thought they were was a letdown spot. So things are good. Glad to be back on, and hopefully this is second time this week. So hopefully we can start doing 2 times a week, man. It's always great to be on here with you.
Yeah, it's always a blast. We always talk about some random stuff. It's crazy that like we start like we have this like outline of what we're going to talk about, and then we land on something completely random, and then we spend like 20 minutes on it, and then we talk about something else random. It's always a fun time with you, Tom. It's like that's how our conversations have always gone on the phone, and now we're doing it. In front of a lot of people. So it's great.
And nobody can go on tangents better than I can. I'd say I put my skills up against anybody. So.
All right, we have a couple questions off the bat. John asking, does the Austin Johnson signing make the Bills Super Bowl favorites? Well, I mean, Austin Johnson, I rated as 1.5 star free agent. I assume this isn't just, but I don't know. It's a fine depth move. You know, I feel like the Bills are a little thin on the defensive tackle spot. So it's a fine signing, I guess. Nothing crazy. I didn't grade it or anything, but I'd probably grade it as a B. It's okay. And then Patrick asking, speaking of random, have either of you played Shadow of the Colossus or Ico? Just finished both, and some of my favorite video games of all time. Tom, have you ever played those? Because I played Shadow Colossus. I've not played Ico.
I haven't. I'm not sure I'm even familiar with them, Patrick. I haven't. So Walt, you said you played Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus is an amazing game. So it's kind of an insane experience. I think I would compare it to like Breath of the Wild before, like much earlier. This came out when I was done college. So I think it was like I played it in like 07 or 06 or 07 or something like that. But it was phenomenal. It's kind of like you're basically a guy, and your wife. I can't remember if it's your wife or your girlfriend, but she's dead, and you go to this forbidden land, and you basically make a pact with a demon. Saying the demon says he will revive your wife if you slaughter 16 colossi, which is plural of colossus. So like you have to like venture through the countryside, this like abandoned land, which like it's a big land to explore, and then you find these colossi and you have to kill them. And these are like innocent, just beings, or for the most part, like one attacks you, but one attacks you unprovoked, but like as soon as you're going to kill them, like they go nuts to try to kill you. But like you have to try to find them, and you have to like climb them because they're so massive. Like you have to climb them and find their weak spot and kill them. And like each time you kill them, it feels like it's part of your soul is like being ripped apart because you're killing like these innocent things. And then like as you kill more colossi, like you just get more pale, and then like and toward the end of the game, at the end of the game, when you kill the last one, there's a twist, and it was a really cool experience playing that game. It was awesome. I know Ico's related to it. I don't know if it's like the prequel or the sequel, but I know it's related to it. But yeah, I love Shadow of the Colossus. It's one of my favorite games.
Is it PC or console or?
I think it was PlayStation 2. I think PlayStation 2. I don't know if it was remade for 3 or 4, but I think it was PS2 if I remember correctly.
Oh, interesting. I never, I dropped off for a long time. I play a lot of the retro games, and then because I never owned, I think PlayStation 2. I never got a PlayStation past that. So, but so I'm not. There are a lot of games that I'm familiar with, and now I'm newer to the PC gaming, which I do mostly now. But no, that sounds pretty cool though. I'll have to read up on that Shadow of Colossus. Okay.
Yeah. And I say it's like Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because that also is like an exploration game where you can just go anywhere and do anything. No, it's not like go and kill certain things, but there are big monsters in Legend of Zelda and also in Tears of the Kingdom, which is the sequel to Breath of the Wild. That kind of reminds me of that because it's this big landscape world where you can just go anywhere, do anything. And it's obviously more detailed. It's like 20 years later almost. But yeah, in Breath of the Wild, like you can fish, you can hunt. You can just hunt deer, like that. You can just do that in the game, and like you can cook the meat that you find. Like it's pretty crazy. Or you can just go on the real quest and like kill or go into these big structures and kill the demons inside. It's really I love that game. I love both Zeldas that came out recently. I think they're both tremendous. So actually says they're the same game developers. That's not surprising. PS3 has an HD collection, and it's on PS4. Their last game, Last Guardian, came out around 5 or 8 years ago. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't familiar that they had another one, the third game, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I obviously played Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. I know it's related to it, so yeah, definitely recommend it to anyone who likes that sort of video game.
What would you say is the hardest video game you've ever played,
or
a couple of them? I know that there's. I won't be surprised if you say one that I think you might say.
Well, I feel like most of them are going to be on NES because it was so weird. The NES either had the easiest games of all time or the hardest games of all time. Like there was no in between.
There was very little to know in between. Both the games that I'm thinking of right now are both on NES. To back up your theory there.
Right. So off the top of my head, I would say Ghosts and Goblins has to be there.
That's one of mine.
There's Red Devils, man. It's giving me nightmares still.
Now I just remember we brought this up before many moons ago, back in the horse and buggy days. No, Elden Ring and Contra without code. Yeah, Contra is tough. Contra is tough too. Yeah. After like the first few levels, I have it on my Super Nintendo Classic, but I haven't played it in some time. But the original Ghosts and Goblins, it's what makes the game so much more difficult is that the power-ups and the weapons, they have permanence. Like you can walk off screen and come back and they're still there. Sometimes, which is not the case with I would guess many games, in NES. But remember that fireball? That was the worst weapon. Yep. And in the second or third level, there's no way you can avoid it. If you hit the chest, it was always a damn fireball. And you have to get it. It sucks. It's such, Ghosts and Goblins on NES is maybe the most difficult game I've ever played. They had a Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which was the sequel on Super Nintendo. That is also very difficult, but I'm a lot better at that one than I am. I almost actually streamed it and I almost beat it or got through it the first time because then you have to go back and do it all again. Mm-hmm. But I almost beat it on a stream. So I'm definitely better at that one. The original Ghosts and Goblins is a nightmare. No pun intended.
It was crazy. And you talk about how you can't avoid weapons. Like you need a certain weapon to beat the boss of the game. And like you get it much earlier in the level. And like you can get other weapons after that. And if you do, you're screwed. because like you need that weapon,
Yeah.
and like you have to like avoid those weapons. And if you get one of these new weapons by accident, you can't beat the game. It's just it's so brutal. It's just like such a punishing game. Like it's so unforgiving. And those Red Devils that I talked about. If you don't know what those Red Devils are and Ghosts of Goblins, just search them on YouTube. It's like they are so menacing. Like they just don't stop.
They're maybe the most annoying enemy in all the video games I've ever played in my life.
No.
There doesn't seem to be a pattern to where they fly or when they go up and down and they do that stupid mocking dance. There's just, I feel like you just have to get lucky every time. You never know when they're going to swoop down. You can't. I feel like you can't avoid it when they swoop down in any way. And if you do avoid it, you're lucky. So that game is so maddening. John Sanders, you said the original Crash Bandicoot. The original one was kind of difficult there. I was really good at the third one. Crash Warped. I could really rip through Crash Warped pretty quickly, but the original one was really tough. I do agree with your comment there, John.
Those Red Devils were super brutal, and like it was crazy. They give you one right away in the first level, so like it's just like right there. And then like you get by one, and you're like, okay, phew, got by one, and then like level 3, 2, there are like 4 of them, and like there are like 3 in a row that you have to get by, and just you're right, there is no pattern to them. They just like dance all around. They mock you. I think that's a great way to put it. Love to Eat says Battle Toads. Yes, that was my other. Well, I was gonna say, so I have three actually. Ghosts and Goblins, Battle Toads, especially the third level, the stupid jet ski level where you have to avoid those.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Because like the first 2 levels are awesome, like you just beat them up, guys, and like it's so fun. And then like the third level, you have to do this stupid jet ski race, and just I would just die every time. It's so horrible. And my third choice was the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not the beat 'em up ones that were so much fun. The original one. Where level 2 you get the water hazards, where we talked about that before, where you hated that, and like I usually do well with those, but sometimes I'll screw up. But like I usually do well with those. But then like the third level, where it's just this huge map and this huge maze, and like you just wouldn't know where to go, and there'd be these impossible jumps you'd have to make, and like these stupid tractors that would run you over on the overworld. It's just like I never got past that ever. And like I'm someone who played video games so much. I said this before. I used to be the world record holder for Super Mario Kart Choco Island 1, and I beat like Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time with only 3 hearts. Like, so I've done some good video gaming in my life, but like I could not get past those 2 levels, like level 3 in Turtles and Battletoads.
Dude, put respect on Walter's name. That's tremendous, dude. I already knew that about you, but we got to at least recognize. Say it again. You were the world record holder for
Choco Island 1 and Super Mario Kart.
That's incredible, man.
I know.
That's awesome, man. I know. I think. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, it's like because they had the world record the times for Choco Island 1, and then I beat it, and like I just submitted it. And so
do you know if does it still stand as the world record?
Probably not. People probably found hacks and whatever. I don't know.
Right.
I haven't. This is like back in like 94 or 95. So
still, dude, that's really incredible.
It's incredible how much time I played video games by myself to be able to be that good. Love to Eat says original Double Dragon. So I don't know. I beat original Double Dragon. I don't think like that was a tough game for sure. There were some really tough levels, especially at the end. But I thought it was definitely a tough game. I didn't think it was nearly as tough as like Battletoads, TMNT, and Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins, I think, is the number 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, you especially because.
Well, real quick, especially because like in Ghosts and Goblins, if you quote unquote beat the game, you have to do it again because it was a false boss.
Oh so you have to get back and get the bracelet or whatever.
Yeah, you have to go through it and get the bracelet, like you said, and just beat it the second time. This is the worst.
My super Ghouls and Ghosts is so hard. One of my best friends, Lou, and back when I went to UCF, he would come over all the time. We would, this was back in my drinking days, and we would just, be hanging out and drinking beers and whatnot. And I would free roll him on the first level of Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I'd say, if you can beat this in 5 tries or less, I will give you $50.
Nice.
And he was never. One time he came so close. He came so close. I really thought I was going to have to pay him. But then another, my buddy Alex, he ended up doing it, but he's sort of cheated because he went home and like found it online and practiced it, and then kind of hustled me in a way. But he couldn't do it either until he finally. I did pay him. I offered him $40. I gave him the $40. But Bryce Benjamin, yeah, The Lion King. Isn't it funny that like a movie and like it's a movie for kids? So you'd be like, oh, like this is a kid's game, Yeah. This will be really easy. Not at all. Not at all.
I think it was. What's funny is that Lion King for Sega. That was known to be tough, but if you got the SNES version of Lion King, that was super easy. So I don't know why they buffed it for
really?
Sega. Right. Yeah, it was so different. Like they buffed it for Sega, but they made it so easy for Super Nintendo. So I don't know why. By the way, the easiest game I've ever played is The Little Mermaid for a Nintendo. So my sister got it. My sister got this game, and I was like, oh, let me play this. And so I beat no joke. I beat the game the first try, no deaths. And like I beat it in like 45 minutes or like 50 minutes, and like I beat the game. I'm like, wait, is that it? And it's like game over. I was like, oh my god, this is incredible! I beat the game first try, no deaths. And my sister was like, how'd you do that? And I was like, it's super easy.
Dude, that's awesome. There was this game. The other hardest game that I've ever played was. In fact, I might ask you to look it up because I would be so surprised if anyone has any idea what I'm talking about. It's called The Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy for NES, and my cousins and I just called it Dizzy. I'm not joking you. It took us 17 years to beat this game. And like we started playing it when I was 7 years old. And, all we had was Game Genie. We didn't have the internet to look up. So you're just like this anthropomorphic egg in this treehouse and like your egg family. And this evil wizard steals your girlfriend. And you have to like collect all these items and use the items other places. But it's so hard. It's so easy to die. Like these bugs and spiders come dropping down on you and like kill you instantly. And there's no save. So we couldn't beat it with Game Genie. One time we left an object somewhere and we needed it to get out of a certain spot, but we had infinite health and infinite lives. So we got stuck down there. We were so, and then finally when I was like 25, my cousin called me up and he just goes, Tommy, you're never going to believe this. I finally beat Dizzy. And then it was the dumbest ending too. We couldn't believe after 17, 18 years, it was just a picture of Dizzy and his girlfriend. And it just says the end. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Like that's all after 18 years, that's all we got. It's almost impossible to describe how difficult it is. But it was just, a sense of accomplishment for us to beat it after all that time. But the ending was I don't know, it just made it funny. But The Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy, everyone.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've not heard of it. I'll have to look it up. Love to Eat says Castlevania can never get past the Grim Reaper. That was it's funny because like Castlevania up until that point was an easy game. Maybe not easy, but it was like not that difficult. But then when you get to the Grim Reaper, it's pretty tough. I've been able to beat it, but like if I have like 10 chances, I'll do it like once. It's one of the tougher bosses for sure.
It really is.
Yeah. Let's see, Mega Man 9. So it's funny, like Mega Man 9, when I first started playing it, I was like, man, how do I beat this game? And then like, I think once you figure out the order of the bosses, it gets a lot easier. Like figuring out the order is tough because you just go through these levels and then you fight the boss and you realize you can't beat it. It's like, all right, I wasted my time. It's just like, that's like the annoying part of Mega Man. But like once you figure it out, I think it does get easier. Like I could eventually beat Mega Man 9 in like just like 1 or 2 deaths maybe. But like when I first started, it was really difficult to get through it. So 18 years. So
18 years, Space Beast. It was
yeah, Love to Eat says Walt is close to my age. The Tick game had 100 levels. Really, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the game. I never played it. So that's pretty incredible to have 100 levels.
I do remember renting it at some point, but I don't think I ever beat it. So I didn't know it had 100 some levels. That's wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mentioned this the other day. The bacteria puzzle in Seventh Guest, which was super easy on the old computers back in the 90s, but now it's like absolutely, like, I'm not joking, it's impossible to beat because AI is so smart. And like you have to basically, for those who didn't hear it, you have to you control this bacteria against your opponent, and your opponent, like the computer, tries to figure out what you're going to do. And this, like, back in the 90s, I beat it as like a 12-year-old. Like, it was super easy. Like, I never, like, I would just go through it. Like, the first time I'd always beat it, like, never lost. And then I kind of I downloaded the like the ROM or whatever on my computer like 10 years ago, and I played it. I couldn't beat it, and I was like, what's going on here? Did I just get dumber? And then I downloaded it on my wife's phone, and like we tried to beat it, and like we weren't getting close to it at all. And I actually Googled it, and it said this game's actually impossible to beat now because the AI has gotten so smart that the computer like knows exactly what you're gonna do, and it's able to like make the perfect moves, and you just can't beat a computer, you know. So it's like it's funny how advanced it got.
Wait, what game is this again?
The Seventh Guest. It's about
okay. I think you were telling me about that.
Yeah, it's about this guy, Henry Stoff, who was a toy maker. This is like in the 1920s or 30s. And he was a psychopath who put like poisonous fumes in the toys, and like he killed kids, and then he invited all like these rich people to his mansion one night, and he killed 6 of them. And you're the 7th guest, and you have to kind of like figure out what happened, and you have to get out of this loop that you're in. And to do that, you have to solve these puzzles, and like there's a puzzle in every room in his mansion. Like some of the puzzles are really cool. Like there's one where you have to put 8 queens on a chessboard without them killing each other. You have to. There's another puzzle where you have to move bishops from one side to another without them getting killed. There's a can puzzle. You have to make a can. You have to make a sentence out of these cans that have letters on them, and none of them are vowels, just Y's. And the sentence is shy gypsy slyly spryly tryst by my crypt. And there's no vowels in that sentence, which is pretty remarkable.
Wow.
But yeah, so there's so many cool puzzles in that game, but like one of them is in a lab, and you have to solve it's like you look into bacteria, you look into this microscope and you see bacteria, and you're the blue bacteria and Stoff is the green bacteria, and you have to have more bacteria on the board by the end than he does. And like I said, when I was a kid, this is super easy, just like thoughtlessly just doing it. And like now you can't beat it. You just can't do it.
Did you ever play E.T. on Atari?
No.
Or do you know other prowess?
No, I didn't have an Atari.
We got an Atari at a yard sale for like $5 once when I was a kid, and they were just trying to give it away. They gave us a ton of games. Pitfall on Atari was pretty cool, but E.T. it's just you should for anyone watching and is so inclined, just YouTube search E.T. Atari gameplay. It's the dumbest game, and it makes you keep falling into this pit, and you're like floating out of it. Like you just don't have any clue what the hell you're supposed to do. It's so bad. I mean, I know it's Atari, so it's archaic at this point, but it's one of the, I think the Angry Video Game Nerd did a bit on it. It is one of the dumbest games ever.
I love that Angry Video Game Nerd. He's the best. Yeah, I like a lot of his reviews, especially the Zelda 2 one, which I understand. I love Zelda 2. But it was I understand how it's so frustrating for sure. Space Beast says I'm here for the one like that I gave. I actually did not say please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that mean a lot to us. It's I think that's the record, like 23 minutes in to do that intro. So and also super chats, if you really want to help support us, the best way to do that, super chats. Like I always say, these YouTube ads pay nothing. I was actually looking at the revenue per day the other day, and it's like, when we get super chat, it like spikes, but like when we don't get a super chat, it's like 90 cents, $1.20, $1.10. It's so bad. So these YouTube ads pay absolutely nothing, and so even like a $2 super chat that we had the other day, that means a lot. Or if John's 9/11 super chat, so it's always great. If you guys really want to help us out, that's the way to do it, and just keep the show going. Just Googled it, got a 1.8 out of 10 rating. That's funny.
I'm surprised. What you're talking about, E.T. I'm assuming there, John. I can't believe it got that high.
Yeah, that's funny. Bryce says the PlayStation Pizza Hut demo with Final Fantasy and Tony Hawk, greatest demo of all time.
Bryce, I like where your head's at, man. I remember that. I was an avid patron of Pizza Hut, especially in during my childhood. Remember the Book It program? Did y'all have the Book It program with Pizza Hut?
So my wife remembers it. I don't. I think I was a little too old for that. I'm 4 years older than you, so like maybe I just missed the cut. But then again, like we didn't go to Pizza Hut that often. We had this local pizza joint called Station Pizza. We used to always go there. And like I don't know, I think we're always a fan of like small businesses because my dad owned. So like we didn't like going to big chains, but I always liked Pizza Hut as a middle schooler or high schooler because like on the rare occasions that we had it, like it was really good. And like I think they were the first to ever have stuffed crust pizza, which like I'm still a fan of. But I don't know what happened, but like when I got Pizza Hut in college, it like tasted different. So I think they changed their ingredients and like they changed a lot there because they closed the Book It program. It's basically like non-existent anymore. Like it used to be like a place where you used to go like and just have like hang out and like go to the salad bar. You used to have those red cups. And like now they don't have that anymore, and like they kind of ruined it. So it feels like it's kind of like a shell of its former self almost.
Right. Actually, interestingly enough, not too long ago, maybe in the last year or so, I watched this video on why. Because remember, well, maybe you don't. You said you didn't go there that often, but the Pizza Hut dine-in experience was so good. Like you said, with those red cups and like that stained glass, those lamps, like the stained glass lamps and the salad bar and everything. I don't know. There was something about the aesthetic of the Pizza Hut. Yeah, and the buffet. There you go, John. It was the peak of human civilization. Well, from a nostalgia perspective, I don't really disagree with you, John. It was there was something that was after the football games in high school. We used to go to Pizza Hut. Kids from the high school, a lot of them would go there and do the sit down. But I think it kind of fell from the wayside where most chain pizza places are delivery. And they didn't really. Pizza Hut didn't do a whole lot of delivery at the time. It was more dine in, and like the market just kind of changed. Showbiz Pizza. Showbiz ended up becoming Chuck E. Cheese, right? It was the same thing. Yeah, look up if you're so inclined. Look up the Showbiz Pizza song. It's if you like corny and cringy stuff, you'll love it.
I'm not familiar with that one. But yeah, I mean, I agree that like Pizza Hut, the dining experience there was great. Like the few occasions when I went, it was awesome. And like they just don't have that anymore. Like even like McDonald's, they don't have their play places because like I always always went to this play place at McDonald's when I was a kid. And then like I always wanted to take my son there, but they don't have play places at McDonald's anymore. It just feels like everything has gotten worse. Like I feel like if I were like rich, I would love to open up just this like a pizza chain or a burger chain that has like a community like driven experience, kind of like Pizza Hut had or McDonald's had. And I don't know why they just went away. I mean, I guess it's not profitable, but I think it's like good for the community and everything. And like the fact that they don't have that anymore, I feel like you can I think you do well with something like that nowadays.
When's the last time you've been in an actual McDonald's? So because it's changed a lot, and I drive Uber Eats on the side. I've driven Uber and Uber Eats on the side for over 9 years now, or coming up on 9 years here. And so if I was doing Uber Eats, I went into a lot of McDonald's to pick up orders and stuff, and it's just I guess this is my version. Like I'm on the precipice of my first generational disconnect, but it's not. It's just more like, hey, like they shout out. There's not a whole lot of people waiting on you. A lot of people just use the kiosks. It's just a different. I just feel like I noticed, like, wow, this is completely different from feel of. It's more like they try to make it more like casual dining than fast food too, sort of thing. If that makes sense. So I don't know. It's just strange. There's just like no people waiting on anybody anymore. I mean, obviously it's just because technology has evolved too. But I don't know. It's just strange to see. And then. Because I love, like you said, like that pizza, the dine-in Pizza Hut experience. It was so it really strikes a nostalgic chord for me. So it's kind of, I guess that's why I'm like bummed that they're not really around anymore.
Yeah, it really sucks. The last time I've been into a McDonald's, it was the day after my bachelor party, actually. So this is like 6 years ago, I guess. But it was a rough night. Let's just say that.
Oh, really?
Oh man, it
Was rough.
was a fun night. It was really fun. We went to I believe you were still in Florida at the time, so
Mhm.
so you weren't able to go unfortunately, but we started drinking in my house at like 6:30 or 7, and then we went to an escape room. It was like an 80s themed escape room.
Mhm.
It looked like it was set up like a Blockbuster video, and like there were some puzzles where you had to like find the real cassette, like the right cassette tape, and like put it in. Like sometimes it would like be like
Oh, okay.
Ferris Bueller. It's like you get like hints, and like one of the puzzles like I had to play an Atari game and like and beat it and like to open the door. So like that was a lot of fun. Like we were like drunk doing it. So like I thought like going in, I was like, oh man, we're all like super wasted. Like, how are we gonna do this? We actually beat it like with like 15 minutes to spare. So it was pretty
Oh,
fun. And
really?
then yeah, and then we went to a strip club. And my there's like famous quote from this from well not famous but like famous among us like from that night. So my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, comes in after the night's over at like 6 a.m. and like he goes to my sister. He's like and she's like, how'd the night go? And he's like, we lost Walt. and she's like, well, did you find him? And he's like, yeah, after a while. So
Did you find him?
yeah. So no, what happened was like someone kept paying for like dances for me, and then someone paid for a private room for me. So I went there for like a half
Oh,
hour.
okay.
And so yeah, like but like no one knew I was there apparently. So like everyone was like, where's
Oh,
Walt? Where'd he
geez.
go? So it was a blast. It was so much fun. And then after that, after like 2 a.m., we came back to my house, drank some more, and like it was such a fun time. It's like one of the
And then
best
you got
nights.
and then you got McDonald's.
Yeah, that's my whole point. Like, so the next day, I was so hungover. I was like, man, I need something greasy to eat. So I went to McDonald's to get like 3 egg and muffins and just like stuffed in my face. That was, I think that was the last time I've been inside of McDonald's, and that's when I noticed that they didn't have a play place. I was like, man, they used to have a play place here. What happened? Um,
Yeah, haven't seen one in a long while.
yeah, it's
But
it's pretty rough.
John, here you go to the salad bar, you eat until the bread's yeah, exactly right. That's a perfect description of the Pizza Hut dining experience if you're doing it right. And John, obviously you are.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Yeah. Let's bring up Mike's comment here.
Well, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
No, it was so Mike says Walt can't afford McD anymore with prices of cheeseburgers and the low YouTube payments.
Yeah, we need the super chat so we can get Walt a Happy Meal. So.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Kenny, here's Walt.
What's up,
said,
Kenny?
if you're rich, come on, we all know that you're rich. Well, two things. One, have you seen the decline in traffic on the site? And two, have you seen the price of AMC? That'll tell you all you need to know.
Oh,
No, I'm not rich, not anymore. Patrick says when they got rid of the snack wrap and the cinnamon melt, I was done with McDonald's. I still love the egg and muffins. I love those so much. Like I'm never up early enough, and apparently like they used to have breakfast all day, but they canceled it.
They did. That was short lived. I remember thinking, because I've worked food service for a long time. I was a store manager and a district supervisor for Domino's Pizza back like over a decade ago. So I worked a lot of food service in my heyday, you know. But I remember when they announced that breakfast would be all day at McDonald's, the first thing I thought was the employees are going to freaking hate that. They're going to freaking hate that. And I wonder if that had something to do with it. It just seems they already have so many menu items. And now you're going to keep it. It just, I don't know. It seemed like a lot to take on, but you know, from a whole like company, because that seemed like it was short lived to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I hated that they got rid of it, and like that makes me not want to go to McDonald's anymore because I'm not a fan of their burgers. Like if you want to have a burger, you just go to like Five Guys or something to get like a really good burger. But like the breakfast at McDonald's is the best. So I don't know like why they would cancel that. It reminds me of that movie from Adam Sandler. I think it was like Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy. Yeah.
And he like yells at McDonald's because they end their breakfast at 10:30 instead of 11.
Right.
That's how I always was. Like even 11's too early. I don't know. Because I work till like 6 a.m. So I'm never up and like functioning until like 11:30 basically. So
sounds like you're part of the problem here with the McDonald's labor issue. I'm just
It's probably true. Card asking, hey Quacky, Hey, Quack, did you already talk about the trade? I want to voice my support for the Titans. We have not. We'll get to that in a second. Once we're through these comments. Patrick says, my buddy also did an escape room and skiing for his bachelor party, and I'm McDonald's the next morning, and the person working there looked concerned for me.
Was that you at Walt's bachelor party, Patrick? That sounds like you just described it.
Well, not skiing. I'm not coordinated enough to do skiing. There's no way I would have done that. I've never skied in my life. I've jet skied. I've never like really skied. Because like, well, first of all, I hate the cold. I would never like go to like a mountain resort for vacation. And second, like I said, I think I would like fall off the mountain if I tried to ski. It would just be a disaster. So I could not do that.
I went once and I was pretty good, but then at the very end I fell and I didn't like it. And then on Valentine's Day 2007, I went snow tubing with a couple of my buddies from my old roommate Dave from Penn State when we lived next door to each other. We went snow tubing at Tussey Mountain, and I was going full speed, and I kind of like got off track, and I couldn't bail out of it, and I was going full speed into a telephone pole, like my leg hit a telephone pole.
Oh my God.
I can't believe I didn't break my leg. I thought it was just a severe like hyperextension, but and after that I won't go anywhere at skiing, snow tubing. That was it for me. That was it. So.
If I go on vacation, it's usually like beach or pool. Like I just I don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm the polar opposite of adrenaline junkie anymore.
Yeah,
it's like I'm just not fun. I won't do any. Well, that's not completely true. I'll go on roller coasters and stuff, but I'm not going to go skydiving. I'm not going to even go skiing or anything like that. I have been jet skiing and water skiing, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's just a symptom of getting older.
Yeah, jet skiing was fun. I did that on my honeymoon in Bermuda. Yeah. That was a good time. But yeah, I mean, I'm not an adrenaline guy either. Love to Eat says, "Oh my God, that sounds great." As opposed to my last bachelor party. Oh, let's tell us what happened. I'm kind of curious.
Well, do we want to know? This is a family friend. I'm just kidding.
Well, it said it sounds great, so like it must have. I don't know the way he made it sounds bad. So, Patrick says they had breakfast all day when I was in grad school, and it was the best year of my life. Strolling in at 3 p.m. for egg McMuffins.
There you go.
That was the best. I used to go for dinner. I used to just get some egg McMuffins and French fries. Like that was the best. That was the best mixture. I felt like
you're getting egg McMuffins and French fries for dinner.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
Really?
Why is that?
I would never in my life would have thought to get French fries with any of the breakfast sandwiches. I mean, I guess it's no different from hash browns in a sense. Just somewhat, but in the texture.
Well,
I would never think about eating fries with an egg McMuffin.
Oh, it was great. I
didn't know it was allowed because of the breakfast and the lunch, but now when it was, that small window of time when the planets were aligned and they served breakfast all day, Walt was able to get the fries with it.
It was awesome. If you can still do it, I recommend it. It was really good. It's Kenny, family friendly. Except when the host low key referred to NFL players as child molesters, as Kenny did recently. It was funny. That was a good time. Love to eat says I'm jealous of Walt's beard. Oh, thank you so much. This is kind of an accident because for 4 months I didn't get a haircut. Just because the person who cuts my hair, I've only had one person cut my hair my entire life. And so this person was unavailable. Yes, that's serious. Yeah, this person was unavailable for 4 months because she was tending to a sick family member. And so like it was either go somewhere else to cut my hair and pay for a haircut for the first time in my life, or just keep growing it out. And so I kept growing it out. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna look like a caveman, I might as well grow my beard out too. So that was I did that, and then like. People are saying like, oh, I like the beard, long hair, not so much. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll keep the beard and after my haircut. So go ahead.
When you say your whole life, I mean, since what age, or do you mean literally you've never gotten your haircut from anyone else? Who is your hairstylist and how old is she?
That'll be my mom because she used to be a hairdresser. My mom used to be a hairdresser.
Did you say that already? I didn't hear that.
No, my mom used to be a hairdresser when she first came to this country. And she eventually became a dental technician. But like she would always cut everyone's hair. Like she cut my dad's hair, my sisters, my grandparents when they were alive, and now her grandchildren. She always does their hair now. But like I never had to pay for a haircut because she would always do it because that was her job. And so so for these 4 months she was not available to cut my hair. She just didn't have the time. So it was like I said, it was either pay for a haircut for the first time or just wait. And I was like, I might as well wait. I'm not gonna change. I'm 40, almost 42 already. Like, why change now?
Wow, that's it. So you've never had to deal, because I've had my share of bad haircuts in my day. So you've never had to. I mean, at least you're used to getting a consistent cut.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that every. I mean, your mom's probably pretty good, like, this isn't as good as it. Not to put your mom on the spot here on the show.
Yeah, she watches the show, so she's gonna be upset.
Walter, get that boy off there.
Well, I mean, some haircuts are gonna be better than others for sure, and like, but I've always been happy with it. Like it's funny because like when I was a kid, I used to have a mullet because I mean back in the 80s that was what everyone had, and then for the first time I got like a mushroom cut in like 4th or 5th grade because like that's what people were getting. And I remember this girl Danielle in 4th grade, and like I spoke to her like once or twice, or like just barely. But I walked in with my new haircut. She's like, "Oh, Walt, I missed your old haircut." And I'm like, "That's weird. That's kind of weird." She never commented on that before. But no. And then obviously it was changed throughout the years. But yeah, it was.
Wait, she missed the mushroom cut. Or
she missed the mullet. This girl liked mullets apparently.
Oh, okay. Wow. Do you have photographic evidence of this mullet? I can't imagine you with it.
It's got to be. It's probably on Facebook.
My hair doesn't grow long; it just grows, bushy.
Yeah.
So I could never grow, like a man bun or a ponytail or a mullet. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're friends with me on Facebook, I mean, my sister has posted old pictures of me, so you can go back and look.
Was it a full blown mullet or was it like a rat tail? Remember the rat tails?
No, it was a mullet for sure. Yeah. No, I never had a rat tail. It used to be a mullet. I hated those rat tails, man. Some of my kids in my class that had them, I always wanted to like get scissors and cut them off. I hated them so much. They're so annoying.
There was a kid at my school. I only know the story from lore. I didn't witness it nor participate. But I guess they were sitting behind him and in school and cut it off, and he didn't notice.
Really?
Just like they just stifled their laughter. If I could have been a fly on the wall to see that, I mean, that is, first off, that's really a mean thing to do, but it must have been freaking hilarious to watch. I will say that in hindsight, once all the dust clears. But I mean, I'm not condoning it, but that was, I never understood like it would be like a real thin rat tail. I knew this kid, it went down to like the middle of his back. It was just like one thin rat tail. It's like, how does it get like that? I mean, I guess you just cut around it. I mean, is the obvious answer, but I don't know. My hair never grew long that way. So
yeah. I'm never a fan of those. Mike saying, Walt, when you open your restaurant chain, those giant ketchup plunger dispensers, you can fill them with A1 steak sauce instead. Well, why not both, Mike? You can have ketchup and A1 sauce. That's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna be like the signature of this restaurant chain, where you can have you have ketchup and you have mustard. I hate mustard, but you have ketchup, you mustard, and you have A1 sauce dispensers. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, I mean, like, because like who doesn't love A1 sauce except for Kenny? We'll have this fight, Kenny, some other time. But like who doesn't love, except for Kenny, who doesn't love A1 sauce? And I feel like that should be available at the ready all the time.
But see, for me, I would only ever put. I like A1 sauce, and back when I did eat steak, I would use it. I had to have it, but other than that, like, what else do you put it on other than steak?
I mean, Kenny, if you want to answer, Kenny's here in the chat. He says it's a disgusting emote with A1. In fact, like I went to the Paris, the Eiffel Tower restaurant with my wife the last time we were in Vegas, and it's supposed to be like this super like fancy place. And like my wife wanted to have like one fancy dinner there, so like we went and I got like a steak. It was like steak was, I don't know how much it was. It was like $100 or something like that. But like I asked for A1 sauce, and like the waiter looked offended. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, well, maybe we can find some. I'm like, okay, that'd be great. So he actually like returned with a saucer of A1 sauce. He's like, and here's your A1 sauce. I'm like, thanks, this is awesome. And then like I like smeared my steak with A1 sauce. all over it. It was covered fully. And I talked about this on Facebook, and this guy I know, it's a good guy, but he was kind of giving me crap for it. He's like, how do you put A1 sauce on $100 steak? And I was like, dude, I would put A1 sauce on $1 million steak. A1 sauce is the reason I eat steaks, dude. So,
I'm not really, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't really eat a lot of steak. In fact, I don't eat steak at all. I mean, steak is okay, but to me, I guess because I don't eat the fat, I have to cut off so much of it. I feel like it's not even worth it. And it's so expensive, so I wouldn't eat it. And, like, I would never want anyone to like treat me to or take me to like an expensive fancy dinner. I feel like it would be wasted on me. Just take me down to Moe's or something and get me a burrito, or save the money. Don't buy me. It'll be to all my future friends and girlfriends who are gonna buy me dinner. Just take me to the McDonald's drive-thru. I'll be happy, and I'll save some for Walt since he hasn't been there in 6 years.
All right, we will go to. I'll treat you to McDonald's drive-thru if the Predators come through and win the Stanley Cup. Dinner's on me, and hopefully by then they have breakfast again. Because I just I can't see Kenny's chat for some reason. I only know he's here because you're popping him on the screen and talking about him. Yeah, he's posting on through Facebook. So this program we have is called StreamYard. It can stream on it's streaming right now live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and IBM TV. Like IBM TV through Roku. Which like I'm friends with them. I used to have a fantasy football show on IBM TV, so they set that up so you can watch it through Roku now. So it's StreamYard's pretty cool because it can stream through all these platforms. It's like that's why you're not seeing Kenny's chats, because he's posting through Facebook.
Yeah, I do that through, because I remember because I texted you about it through through X. Does anyone call it X? Through Twitter. Yeah, so I guess it just doesn't show up on that side if it's from a different platform.
Yeah, it's weird that way. I feel like it should show up, but I guess YouTube just can't handle it right now. John asking, were you the guy that walked around the neighborhood with the boom box on your shoulder? I wish I was that cool. I don't know. Like my neighborhood was like kind of quiet, kind of a quiet place, so no one was doing that. We did have some interesting people in my neighborhood though. Like there was this one girl who lived next door to me, and like we never talked ever. And she was exactly my age, but for some reason, like we just never talked. Like I was kind of like a shy kid, but I think she was super introverted. And like one time I started talking to her on AIM, and I was like, we live next door to each other. We should just meet. And she's like, okay. And so like I was like, okay, I'm heading over now. So like I walked next door. And like I rang the doorbell and I waited for like 5 minutes, and like no one came down. I rang it again, like still no one came down. And I was like, Patty. I was like, I don't know if she could hear me. And like she just didn't answer. And like went back to my computer. I was like, what happened? Like, why didn't you answer the door? And she's like, I really don't want to meet. like, what's going on here? Like, why? We're neighbors. Like, what's
Wait, so did you ever meet her?
No, I never met her.
Dude, that's something else.
She's a bigger girl, to put it nicely. But I was trying to be friends. I wasn't like trying to do anything. I was like, we're the exact same age. We should just like meet each other, you know. We live right next door to each other. Like, why not? So it's so weird.
Oh my god! Yeah, the Trailblazers did just cover there. Well,
yes, they did. I've been watching the score.
I know, man. You've been hot.
Yeah, like Monday was a bad day, but ever since Monday we've been good this week. I think we're over 30 units now for the year, for the NBA. So I think this is the first time we're over 30 units. So that was awesome. We have a bunch of other comments here. Love to says, for everyone hating on the Sneed trade, we had the best DB coach in the NFL and Dave Merritt. So we'll get to that in a second. Carter says, don't like A1. I eat steak every night. Salt, garlic, pepper. Okay, interesting. I haven't had that. Onion rings go great with A1 sauce. I feel like everything goes great with A1 sauce. Although Kenny would disagree. A1 rules. Let's see. Pork, way better than beefsteak. I mean, I love both. I'd rather have beefsteak than pork, but I'm a big pork fan too. Go Predators. We like the Preds. Well, it's not me. Don't give me credit. It's Tom. Tom recommended the Predators. It was at 60-1, and now I think it's 45-1. I didn't check the current odds. But yeah, they were 60-1. When was it, Tom? Like a week ago that you gave them out? And
yeah, exactly 1 week ago.
Yeah, you were.
Too.
Yeah, they're 45-1 now. Yeah, you really sold me on them at 60-1. Now they're still 45-1 to win the Stanley Cup, and yeah, I mean it's looking good. They're playing really well, so hopefully that continues.
Yeah, let me see something here. I can tell you they have 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on, now I can't count. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
While I do that, I'll read these.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Walt, have you tried Heinz 57 steak sauce? Very different, but good too. I have not. I've only been an A1 guy, but I've never had it. Yeah, still waiting on Kenny to tell me what he eats steak with, by the way. Cassandra says that makes more sense. I don't have Facebook. Oh, yeah. So, okay. John says Ponderosa steak sauce is fantastic. I haven't heard of a Ponderosa in some time. I've not had that. I'll try to have it. And yeah, Sue says Blazers cover. Walt the Great goes 2-0 again. Yeah, that was a nice one. Sorry for those of you who missed the Claxton prop. That was at 1:00. I posted at 11:30 in the morning. I was out all day. We had an Easter egg hunt for my son, who he had it last year at the same place. And he was only 15 months old back then, and so he only got 4 eggs. And I almost felt bad for him, but he didn't know what was happening. He got it was an age group of 4 and under, and so these kids are 3 and 4. They're stealing all his eggs from him, and he only got 4 eggs last year. And I felt bad, but I'm okay. I was Connie, you have to redeem yourself this year. And we even practiced. I was like, you have 30 seconds to get as many eggs as possible. Go. We put eggs all around the house, he was getting them. And so today he got he had 40 eggs. It was awesome. So he redeemed himself after last year's poor performance.
Oh, there you go. redeemed himself. I've got the official math done now. Okay, finally I did my counting. The Predators are 15-0-2 in their last 17 games. They've gotten in both those, obviously 15-0-2. They got 1 point for those 2 overtime losses. Back-to-back shutouts by both goalies. Saros has been awesome, and then Lankinen went in their last game against the Florida Panthers, the team with the best record in the NHL, and pitched a shutout. And they had got another shutout tonight in a game that I thought was going to be a letdown spot for them. In fact, I told you, Walt, I actually took Detroit plus 1.5, and Nashville won 1-0. I think they're getting hot at the right time. They really have. Their goaltending has been great. They've got some great pieces, so I'm probably going to take it again, even though it's dropped a little bit. You said what? It's 40 to 4 or 40 to 5 to 1 or something like that. That's still I
45 to 1 on FanDuel. Yeah.
Yeah, I still think that's a steal. This team is red hot right now, and just seem to be a very balanced attack. I've been catching a lot of their games, of course. So yeah, I still recommend it. I'm probably gonna take it again myself.
I could easily Google this, but I'm gonna ask you, what's Soros's first name? Do you know?
Yusei. I think it's Jusse. Yusei. Saros.
Okay.
Saros.
Okay.
I think I might be pronouncing that wrong, but I think it's Ju.
Okay. As long as it's not George Soros.
Well, hang on. It's Saros. Saros.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Jusse. It's Juuse. So I think it's Yusei is how it's.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as it's not George, we're in good shape.
It's funny because I thought that too.
No, apparently his son is running the show now. I think Alex. I think is his son's name. But yeah, either way, it's good. Kenny says good quality steak doesn't need much. Cook it, butter and garlic. After, just put a little salt, maybe sea salt or Himalayan salt, or even just regular table salt. Or how about you just put A1 sauce on it? This is not enough of this nonsense. Butter and garlic. Just put A1 sauce on it, Kenny. And then on top of that, drink A1 sauce out of the bottle.
I don't cook anymore, man. I mean, I put together I mean, I'm a single guy. I just put together bachelor meals. I don't want to cook. I wouldn't spend. I know some people really enjoy cooking, but for me, why am I going to spend 2 hours doing? Just give me my ramen noodles and I'll be on my way. I eat ramen all the time. Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty simple. So I wish I do think I think my sense of taste and smell are weak. Like I definitely do not have a sharp palate. I'm an outlier. I'm like a high percentile for those that have weak taste and smell. But anyhow,
Yeah, I make a mean spaghetti, if I do say so myself. All right, let's. So we're talking about Nashville Predators. Let's get to the other Tennessee team. The Titans got L'Jarius Sneed from the Chiefs for a 2025 third-round pick and a swap of seventh-round picks. When I first saw this trade, I'm like, I said out loud. I usually like it's almost like people are like watching me when I like react to this. I don't do it for that, but like I always have these allowed reactions. I always have these like allowed reactions to these trades, and like my reactions to this one was like, what are the Titans doing with L'Jarius Sneed? The Titans team is, I feel like, by far the worst team in the division. They're at least they're not close to the Jaguars or the Texans. I feel like they're way behind them. And then depending on what the Colts have with Anthony Richardson, I feel like they could be way behind them as well. Because I mean, we haven't seen Richardson play a full year yet. I worry about his durability. So like that's why I'm talking that way about him. But like the Titans don't have a quarterback. They don't have much of an offensive line. They have a lot of weaknesses. They have an unproven coach. They have one real receiver in Calvin Ridley, and like I even worry about him being motivated because like this is a guy who's quit on teams that have had great quarterbacks or at least really talented quarterbacks. And now he's going to play with Will Levis. I don't see that working out. The other receiver is DeAndre Hopkins, who's like 80 years old. Like this team doesn't have much going for them. And so they trade for a guy in his prime. And I feel like the Titans at the very earliest to be a playoff contender, like a deep playoff contender, will be 2026. Like I think these next 2 years are a rebuild for them. So in 2026, Sneed is going to be 29. Like, and this is kind of like the edge of his regression. Like the cornerbacks have regressed at 29 before. Look at Nnamdi Asomugha, for example. Like I feel like Sneed, it could be great for them these next 2 years, but like I feel like a team that like the Titans needs to get as much draft capital as possible rather than trading for veterans, because like a team that traded for Sneed should have been a team that's ready to win the Super Bowl now. Like a team that is like a cornerback away from being great, like the Eagles, for example, who had terrible quarterback play last year. Like if they traded for Sneed, it would have made a lot of sense. A team like that. It seemed like the Titans, it really doesn't make much sense. So, like, even though they're getting good compensation, like a 2025 third rounder for Sneed seems like a great bargain because he's a really talented cornerback. So, I'm not willing to give him that much of a bad grade. I gave him a B-. When I was in school, when I got a B-, I was pretty happy about it. So, like, this is not like a terrible grade by any means, but it just doesn't make much sense. I can't grade it any higher than a B-. And for the Chiefs, like I know that they didn't have much leverage, but I feel like they could have gotten more for Sneed. He's one of the more talented cornerbacks in the NFL. He was a shutdown corner last year. He's in his prime. I thought they could have gotten a second rounder at the very least, and they got a third, and not even this year in 2025. So I feel like this is a disappointing trade for the Chiefs. So kind of like a trade that's underwhelming for both teams. I give the Titans a B- and the Chiefs a C+. So any opinion on this, Tom?
Well, I do want to comment on your grading system at least here. No,
sure.
I echo. This is more your wheelhouse than mine, but I do echo your sentiment here. It seemed like like when the Rams got like Von Miller, sort of thing. Right? Wait, am I making that up? He was on the Super Bowl team, right? When they won? Or who am I thinking?
Or Von Miller.
Or no, Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Didn't they acquire him and then they won the Super Bowl? Or am I making that up?
No, not Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is always on the Rams.
So this is why I don't weigh in on trades that I'm just hearing about for the first time here on the show.
I feel like you're thinking of someone. I feel like you're thinking of someone. It was the Rams and Von Miller. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, wait, Von Miller did play for them, right? Am I going insane?
Yeah. Von Miller played for Rams.
Okay, yeah, it was like because it was like they wanted to win now, sort of thing. Like I agree with that sentiment, but I don't have much other than that, so I don't mean to be like a parrot over here. Just, but it's just this is more your wheelhouse than it is mine. But a B-. So let me ask you this: I was telling you about our grading system at my high school, where a C was a 77, or a 77 to an 84. So 80 through 84 was a C in my high school. But like I would have been happy with B minuses too, because like literally everywhere else in the world, that's like an 82, an 82, or 83 is a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
So did you ever have to did you have to study a lot in school to get good? I imagine you got pretty good grades in high school. And
for the most part, when I was a junior, I got straight A's. And my thinking was like colleges look at junior year. So I was on track to get nothing but straight A's except for history. I think I was going to get a B there. And like I went to our teacher was this woman, Miss Spector. And she I don't know, she kind of liked me. And so like after every semester, I would like beg her for like 2 or 3 points to on my average. And like, this is my plan. Because like my average was like an 82 after the first semester. I was like, Miss Spector, I did this, like, can you please bump me up to an 84 or 85? And she's like, oh, that's not going to change your grade. Okay. And so she did it. And then like the next semester I did the same thing. It was like, it was stuck at 84, 85. I was like, Miss Spector, can you bump me up to like 87? She's like, okay. And then like, I at the end, I kind of like rushed through and like I barely got an A. I got like a 90 average. And like, I ended up getting an A. It was like I don't know, it's like ultimate long con with Miss Spector. So
wow, you're really working the system.
No, for sure. And like, so I got straight A's as a junior. And then as a senior, I got a D in health and I got a D in English. Because like in health, I told the story before where my friend Kenny, not the Kenny who's been commenting here and my co-host on the show here, this other Kenny in high school, he took my paper and I gave it to him. I'm like, please change some of the words. And he's like, he gave me $10 for it. He's like, I can't do this. And so I got called down to the health teacher's office, and he had like 10 papers that were exactly the same. He's like, "Which one's yours?" I'm like, "Oh, come on, Kenny."
Oh my.
So he gave me a D for that class. Luckily, I didn't fail.
Oh.
And then in English, I actually got into a verbal fight with my teacher, and I stormed out. I never went back. I never went back. I didn't even take the final. I thought I was going to fail. I really thought I was going to fail, and I got a D in the class somehow. I actually came back to visit high school like one time. It was the next year because my sister still went there and then still had a lot of friends. And so I was just walking around and I saw my teacher, my English teacher, and I was like, oh man, she's gonna give me crap or something like that. And she's like, she walks up to me, she's like smiling. I'm like, this is weird. She's like, hi Walt, how are you? I'm like, okay, hey, how are you? And she goes and touches my bicep. She's like, wow, you really been working out. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? Like I was like in a shouting match with this lady. And like I never went back. I never went back to her class ever again. Because she called me out. She said I was a liar because what happened was we had to give these oral reports on something. And like I was like patiently waiting. I was like, come on, like I was like, I wanted to get it over with. And she never called on me, and this is the worst. And like by the time she went through everyone, she's like, okay, that's it for our oral reports. I'm like, oh, hey, I didn't go yet. She's like, yes. She's like, I called on you and you said you weren't ready. I'm like, no, you didn't. I was like, I've been ready the whole time. And she's like, no, I called on you and you said you weren't ready. I'm like, no, I was ready the whole time. And like, this went like back and forth for like 5 minutes. And like at the end, we were like yelling at each other. And I called her an effing psycho and I walked out. And like, I never went back. It just never went back. And so wow. I thought I was going to fail. I thought I was going to fail the class, and she gave me a D for some reason.
Then you meet up with her later, and what is she? She's all happy, grabbing your bicep, and what else?
She's like, you've been working out or something. I'm like, yeah, I guess. I didn't know what to say. She's like, she was kind of like she's okay looking woman. She's like in her 50s. But yeah, it was strange.
Did she mention the fight? Was she?
No,
she wasn't like, oh, no. Sorry.
No, she didn't mention it. She just like was touching my bicep. Which I guess is like okay because I'm out of high school. You know, it's not like I'm underage or anything.
Walt fail English? That's impossible. No.
Yeah, and now I'm a writer, so
yeah.
Joke's on you. I'm not going to say her name.
That's really interesting. I thought that you were maybe going to tell me that she was like, hey, you were right. Like I shouldn't have yelled at you or whatever, or called you a liar, blah, blah, blah. Sorry about that. And then I thought it was going to be like, oh, cool. So she didn't bring it up at all. What do you think happened? Do you think she's just trying to ignore it, or do you think she forgot? I think the former, if I had to guess, knowing nothing about this person.
You mean you should?
Like it's just easier to forget it and not mention it.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was. I don't know. Maybe she felt bad about it. Maybe that's why she didn't fail me, because she's like, maybe I didn't call him. Because like, I was so angry that she wouldn't let me go. I was even like, look, I could give my oral report now. Can you please let me go now? She's like, no. And like, come on, like, well, you never called on me. Like like the entire class is just like watching us yell at each other. It's the craziest thing. And I'm not one to ever back down. Like if I have a problem with someone, I just keep going at it. So and like I guess she was the same way. Like we were cursing. I was at least cursing at her. She didn't curse at me, but I was
that's interesting too, because I feel like before it, I mean, as someone who knows nothing other than what you're telling me about the situation, you were ready to go. Why couldn't she just be like, oh geez, I thought I did call on you and you said that, but okay, come on up now. Like,
right. That's,
it could have been like, maybe she thought that like I could have resolved that, and instead, I'm the teacher, I could have resolved it differently. It didn't have to get that. Maybe she felt bad but didn't want to bring it up and like apologize. I don't know. What do you think? I'm just trying to like psychoanalyze the situation.
Yeah, I feel like a normal person would have done that, but like, I don't know. She's the person who went up to me and she's like, "Oh, you've been working out," like as if nothing happened. So she was a little weird, maybe. And it was like so radically different than my junior year high school teacher, junior English teacher, who we had to read what was it called? I forget what the book it was. It was Catcher in the Rye. We had to read Catcher in the Rye. And I was kind of like, even though I was on a mission to get straight A's, I was kind of lazy in that class because like I was doing well. And so I didn't read it. And like I failed the test. And I was talking to this girl. I liked this girl, Sarah, at the time. And like we used to talk on the phone all the time. And so I talked to her that night. I'm like, yeah, we had to read Catcher in the Rye. I failed it because I was lazy and didn't read it. She's like, well, that's such one of my favorite books. I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, so good. You should read it. And I was like, okay. So I read it. I actually read it after the test. Like I didn't even need to read it for class. It was like I just wanted to read it because Sarah recommended it to me. And so I read like the whole thing that night, and I went into school the next day, and I was like, Mr. Tedesco, I was like, I read Catcher in the Rye, even though like I failed the test, but I read the whole book. And it was really good. And I was telling him, I was like, I'm like, sorry I didn't read it. I wish I would have read it and like took the test seriously. And he's like, he's like, Walt, do you want to take the test now? I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I'll just take the test now. Let's do a redo. Like, okay. So I actually took the test during my lunch period, and I got like a 98 or 100 on. I forget what grade I got. Yeah, and so he's like, yeah, this is the grade this can count. So he was really cool about it. Yeah, because he's like, I just wanted you to learn and read a good book, and so I felt like he's a good teacher. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I had go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. No, you go. Yeah.
No, I was talking about situations. It made me think of this story. This is a cool story. I always thought so. Like you talk about people like you see later on when your last interaction with them was a little shaky. When I used to manage Domino's Pizza this was 2011. Long story short, and I was definitely justified to do this. I fired this guy. I was already in a bad mood. And that day, hey, what's up, Slew? Thank you for the super chat, my friend.
Yeah, thanks so much, Slew. 555. 5 is my favorite number. After Dark is his favorite show. Thank you so much. SDWF NBA play is 2 units spread, 1 unit's points. Parlay about 5 to 2. Irresistible, half unit, 1/3 or 1/4 on parlay.
Slew, look like you're writing a math equation there for a second. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, buddy.
Okay, so parlay probably probably a quarter of a unit. Like I think it kind of matches up with the old money line underdog theory that our proxy does. Is like if he takes an underdog, he puts a quarter of a unit on the money line of what a quarter of what he bets on the money line. So maybe I bring maybe a quarter here, I think. But I mean, it really depends on how confident you are in the picks. So like. If you're like I don't know about this, maybe a quarter. If you're more confident, maybe a half. So I don't know if there's like a right answer, but but it should really depend on how you feel about each pick. You know what I mean?
Agreed. I don't do parlays. Although I've been getting into some round robins lately. I showed you I had a nice round robin.
You did. Yes. You did. Congrats on that one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sometimes like the hockey plays, I kind of, I like the line movement, and then if how the team's been performing lately, if they're kind of heading in opposite directions and it's a weird line, I kind of like it. Then put a few of those together, and then maybe you do like a 3, maybe 6 teams and do a 3 or 4 way, see how you do. Mm-hmm. So I've been getting into some round robins a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carter says there is only a right answer if you know your edge. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it really varies. So it depends on the day. But Sluice, thank you so much for the super chat. Just really appreciate it, man. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I was telling this. Yeah, so I fired this guy who was a delivery driver for me, and he was giving me attitude and talking back to me over something like completely, like he was being completely unreasonable. Like I was definitely justified. And I was already like in a bad mood that day, which is very rare for me. I'm usually pretty upbeat, and but I was so pissed. Like I fired this guy on the spot, and it was like that was it. I remember like he sent me like a bunch of texts like chewing me. I was like, just don't even answer it. It was like I was definitely justified to do it. Let's put it that way. So years go by, like a couple of years go by, and I ordered. I was just like chilling at my apartment one night, and I ordered pita pit, and like the driver called me and was like, hey, like I'm down, down outside your place here. And I went down, and it was that guy that I fired from 2 years ago. And right away he was, and he, like, I didn't know it was him. Like I opened the door, I was like, whoa. And right away he said, hey, Tom. And he just goes, sorry, I was weird a couple of years ago. And I was like, dude, like, don't worry about it, man. Like it's water under the bridge. But I thought that was like, I was so surprised because immediately I was like, is this guy going to be like, yo, like, F you, man, like, like, you bastard, you fired me. But I thought that was really cool. Like, I will always remember that because first thing out of his mouth, he's like, hey, Tom, sorry, I was, what did he say? He said, sorry, I was weird a couple of years ago. So don't even worry about it, brother. It's cool. But that's what I thought was going to happen with your English teacher. I thought he was going to go something like that.
Oh, yeah. No, it went the complete opposite way, which is very strange. I still don't know. I like I said, I only went back to visit high school just once. I feel like that's like I feel like people who keep going back to high school to visit are like weird. I think like once, maybe twice should be the maximum. It's like I feel like you have to move on with your life. Like, what are you doing? What are you still doing there?
Wait, you're saying once, twice
to visit? To visit high school. No, in your life, to visit your old high school, like once or twice. If like maybe if you're one of your favorite teachers retiring or something like that, and like visiting like the year after because you still have friends there. Like I said, my sister still went there, and I still had a lot of friends on the swim team. I was captain of the swim team. I still had a lot of friends on there, and my coach was actually retiring from swimming. Like that was actually why I went. To like say goodbye to him and stuff like that. So and like thank him for all the coaching. So
right. And I did that. So you're saying other than things like that for special occasions,
right?
You'd say other than that you should only go back like once or twice. I don't think I've really, other than what you the stipulations you just set forth there. I haven't been back there in a long time. But what about like homecoming? I feel like homecoming is more of a college thing anyway. How many 40-year-old? Well, I guess it depends on where you live, but like how many 40 to 45-year-old people are going back to their high school homecoming? Like other than the football game. Well, I mean, what else do they have going on? I guess just the football game.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a game, I mean, our games are never at our high school; they're always somewhere else. So, and I never got the point of like high school football anyway. Like maybe because like it's different in Texas or something like that, but here in PA, it's completely different. Like no one takes it seriously. So. I don't get like the alumni who go to the high school football game. Like why do you care? Like what do you care? Like these are 15, 16, 17-year-old kids who are just like not really concerned about football. Like, I mean, they obviously take it seriously to be on the team, but like they have other issues. Like they're worrying about like who are going to take the prom or something like that. Like, and they're not adults yet. So like, why are you like watching kids? I just never understood it. But like I said, it's different.
Probably none of them are going to the NFL. I mean, like not that that's contingent on it being good isn't just it's not contingent upon that. But I agree. It is kind of. Yeah, like unless like you said, like Texas or those areas where, you know, some people's like faith, family football, you know, like those areas that are really big into it, where like if you almost have to play. But
yeah, no, actually, we almost had an NFLer from high school. We had this guy Damone Jones who used to he was a left tackle at Penn State. He actually he was recruited by Joe Paterno. Paterno actually came to our high school.
Really?
Yeah. So and this guy was big and athletic. I thought he had a chance to go to the NFL, and unfortunately, he just did nothing in college and just never made it to the pros. But he at least had a chance. Sharif Floyd, who's used to be the defensive tackle for the Vikings. He went to the high school, my local high school. I used to be I used to be the swim coach there, and while I was the swim coach there, he was on the football team there. So,
well, I just mean statistically speaking, it's unlikely. I didn't mean that. That is really cool though. Not for my tiny little school.
Yeah.
We didn't have anyone from that, you know, even who would have even been close. But I don't think I've been. I don't even know. I think I could roll up to my high school now and it would look completely different. I almost wouldn't recognize it. It's been that long, at least 10 years. What year are we in?
2024.
I'd say it's been like 15.
Really?
Yeah, maybe 17 since I've even seen my high school.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go. You know what? This summer is going to be my 20-year reunion. It's been 20 years. June, like 3 months from now, it'll be 20 years since I graduated.
Are you going to go to the reunion?
I haven't. I've heard some murmurs. I don't know if it's happening, but I don't know if I'm going to go. You went to yours, right? And you said it was a good time.
I went to 5 and 10, which were a fun time. I thought they were a blast. I had a good time. And then my 15-year reunion, I didn't go because I got sick. And then my 20-year got canceled by COVID. So our 25th is coming up next year, so that'll be fun. I'll definitely go to that. So.
I don't plan on going, but maybe somebody will talk me into it. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. But
sounds good.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've even really like thought about it. I can't believe it's been that long, but also it's been 25 years for you almost, you said? Jeez.
Yeah, I graduated in 2000, so yeah, 2025. Easy math. Carter says Titans probably don't have a QB, but they might. Levis has a bunch of upside, but he also has a low floor, so they could have it. I guess like for that angle, it's maybe worth the gamble. But I feel like they have so many holes on the roster. Like they don't have an offensive line to protect them. And they could draft one. They could draft a left tackle with their first round pick this year. But you never know if he's going to be good too. Like you don't know if Levis is going to be good. Like you don't know if Ridley's going to work out. Like, I feel like there are a lot of question marks with this team. Whereas like Houston, Jacksonville, I feel like we know that they're going to be good. And like Richardson, if he stays healthy, we've seen him play well. So I feel like Tennessee is definitely last place. Like even with the Sneed trade. We have some other comments here. John says, I feel like both teams lost. Chiefs at least got the better pick than the comp pick they would have gotten had they just let him walk. That's true. I feel like they could have gotten a little bit more. So yeah, I agree that I feel like both teams lost. Let's see here. John asking, is Ned Stark still your favorite character? We'll get to that in a second. Whatever you were saying, he's my favorite character. I was holding my tongue and I was like, I almost wanted to say, like, do not get attached to anyone on the show. Do not. There's a lot of death on the show. A lot more to come too.
I knew that going in. I had heard that going in, but I didn't think that was going to happen so quickly. But hey, real quick, speaking of the Chiefs, what do you think Joe Montana feels like when the 49ers and Chiefs have met twice in the Super Bowl in the last 5 years? How do you think he feels about that? Like since he played for both teams.
Yeah, he didn't spend a lot of time on the Chiefs. Right. So I imagine he's still a 49er at heart, you know. He won all of the Super Bowls with the Niners, all 4 of them. So I got to believe that he's still going to root for San Francisco. It's kind of like
I think so too. But...
Like if you're Emmitt Smith and you're watching Cowboys Cardinals game, like do you root for the Cardinals? Like I feel like you root for the Cowboys, you know. Like Emmett's always in the booth for like the preseason games for Dallas. Like he's never in the booth for the Arizona games. Right. And I guess that's a good thing because Arizona's preseason team is they're pretty great. Let's just say that. If you guys have read my my Monday Night Football dialogue, we have one special guest from Arizona preview, which is or preseason broadcasting team, which is great. Let's see here.
Like how do you think it would be? Remember when the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl when the Harbaugh brothers? What do you think? Like, do you think that has like a mental toll on the family? Like their parents have to be. It's like we're going into like one of our sons is going to be like completely elated, and the other is going to be completely devastated. You know, more or less after this. That must be kind of strange.
Yeah.
You know?
It must be, I guess. I mean,
and I guess the Kelseys went through it last year. You know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Kelsey's. Yeah, they went through it. I don't know. I feel like it's they've gotten to be used to it, I guess, you know, because like I mean, one prospect, one brother is gonna be drafted before the other one, like, you know, there's always gonna be heartbreak and elation, you know.
Right. So. And I mean, they're NFL coaches. If they've made it that far, they've been acquainted with competition and the trials and tribulations that come along with that. So I'm sure they're probably prepared as much as they can be for something like that. I just think it would be strange. But anyhow, you know, no one can go on tangents like I can. Huh?
Well, John asking, did you tip him? The guy.
I sure did. Yeah, I gave him a good tip. I've always been. I mean, I worked pizza delivery for years, so I've always been a pretty good tipper.
Yeah.
Love
to eat says you haven't seen Varsity. Variety Blues. It's supposed to be in Varsity Blues. I've seen it. I understand the whole Texas football scene. I just don't understand it. Like, I just don't get like why. Like, if you live in Texas, you're obsessed with high school football. Like, why aren't you obsessed with college football instead? Because like you have a lot of good college programs there. You have Texas A&M, you have Texas Tech that produce Mahomes. Like why aren't you rooting for those instead of like and you're rooting for kids instead? This always seemed like weird to me. Like like especially like the boosters who are like, all right, if you don't go 10-2 this year, you're gonna be fired. It's like who cares? It's high school football. They're a bunch of 15-year-olds. Who cares?
Yeah, and don't forget the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners either, Walt.
Yes,
their name. Yeah,
UTEP, of course.
What's that?
UTEP, University of Texas El Paso.
Yeah, UTEP as well. That's right.
Yep.
There's
so many.
Rice.
Them, yeah.
Put some respect on the name of the Rice Owls.
Rice, Houston Cougars. Can't forget about them.
Yeah. Varsity Blues. You know, there's a scene. I mean, I guess like when I was in high school, I was like, whoa! Remember the scene in Varsity Blues with the whipped cream bikini?
Yes.
It was like, you know, like as a high school kid, you're like, oh yeah, you know, and like don't get me. I mean, get me right. I like scantily clad girls just as much as the next guy. But like, if you were in that, like, what's my responsibility here? Am I supposed to eat all of the whipped cream? That's a lot of whipped cream. And also like, you're going to be all freaking sticky afterwards. Like, is this really as sexy as we think? It sounds like there's a lot of legwork that has to go into this too.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the idea is
all the way around her back too. That's a lot of freaking whipped cream.
Yeah,
and whipped cream is not really intended to be eaten alone. So I'm just saying what's the next? It's left to the imagine. These are the things I think about, you know.
Yeah, it's like a good thought. It's like the thought that counts, you know. But yeah,
right.
I hear what you're saying. I never thought much of it, but you're right.
Yeah, neither did I. And as a high school kid, you know, I was the target market to be like, oh man, you know, kids are like in high school, like, dude, there's a whipped cream bikini scene. Oh, you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Back in our day, like before, you know, you could look up anything in the palm of your hand, you know.
Yeah. So. Yeah. My when I was in high school, I said I was on the swim team. We used to have we used to talk about this porn website that was free, and like we used to go to it all the time. Like, oh, did you see this video? They just came out. I'm like, no, we have to go to it. It was like the unofficial porn site of the swim team that like we used to always discuss. It was a fun time.
My uncle told me this story from, you know, he went to high school in the 70s, and this story cracks me up every time I hear it. But, you know, like his buddy, you know, this is the 70s, 1970s. So obviously no internet, no, you know, any of that. And his buddies like got together, like came up to him one day and they're like, hey, like, so, you know, so-and-so has a Playboy magazine. Like, oh, really nice. And then he said one time his buddy was like, yeah, like the new Playboy he got, there's 2 girls kissing in it. And my uncle was like, no way, 2 girls kissing. And it's like, dude, that's so tame by like today's standards now. I feel like, it's just, it was just so funny to me. And he was like, no way, are you serious? Like, did you see that on like on every street corner, basically? I mean, so to speak.
Yeah.
No, that's so tame by today's standard. I got such a chuckle out of that. But
that's funny. All right. So John says the high school Texas football players are going to want NIL money soon. That's so true. I feel like it's headed that way. Walt looking like Giga Chad. Thank you for saying that. It's the Chad meme on online. I don't know. You'll be able to see it. John says, the NFL will rig it when Brady joins Fox. The Super Bowl will be Bucks pass. Yeah, of course. Well, the Bucks have a lot of work to do. I feel like, how about Kelsey Brothers? You mentioned.
Yeah. For sure.
Several Texas football stadiums are palaces. Yeah, they really are. They really are. Like I said, I just don't get it. Mike says, Mom Kelsey still gives both of them the same amount of chunky soup, so the Super Bowl doesn't seem to be family divisive. That is true. Although I saw that that Mama Kelsey was rooting for Jason, and like I heard that on the show, and like Travis like, why? And Jason and Mama Kelsey was like, because Jason has given me a granddaughter, and you haven't given me a grandchild yet. And Travis was like, yeah, that's a good point.
Wait, that was in one of the commercials?
No. That was actually on their show, like their podcast.
Oh! I thought there was because okay, that makes more sense. No, because you want to know something? I thought that it was weird. I swear I'm not making this up. In that chunky soup commercial, when she gives the soup to Jason, his mom goes, "It's your or something to the effect of, it's your turn this year," to Jason, and I was like, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't try to like add to the script of like, oh, chunky soup commercial, like that it must mean the Eagles are gonna win. That's one I didn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I always thought it was like that must be strange among the Kelsey brothers too. Like at least with like Harbaugh, like now that like Jim Harbaugh, he's a national champion. So it's like, oh, like one's a Super Bowl champion, one's a national champion.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of so to speak, even though John Harbaugh beat Jim Harbaugh.
Right.
But yeah, like I feel like that must be weird. Like Travis Kelsey, like do you think like Jason Kelsey gets like I don't know, like do you think it sucks because he didn't get a ring?
We got a ring in 2017,
or rather that he has less rings, I guess, sort of thing.
I mean they both have Super Bowl. It's not like they were it's like Travis. If Travis goes to Jason is like, hey, I got 2 rings, you got 1. I'm a better player. It's like it's not true. Like football is like a team game. It's not like Jason could have been a little bit better and got a second ring. Like Jason was he's going to be a Hall of Fame center, just like Travis Kelsey is going to be a Hall of Fame tight end. I don't think that like unless you're a quarterback, like quarterbacks I can understand to an extent, but like if you're talking center versus tight end, like
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
See, we like to talk through psychological situations here that will never be a part of it on the show. So thanks, Walt.
Right. No problem. All right. So here's some of the 4 signings I was talking about. Browns re-signed Jerry Jeudy. So they traded for him now. They gave him this big contract, 3 years, $58 million, which I gave him a D grade. It's kind of insane that they gave Jeudy this amount of money. Like, what has he done to warrant this contract? I just, he like I said before in a previous show, he had a great run at the end of 2022. And I think he had a lot of us fooled. And then last year he just did nothing. And this is a guy who's just kind of made a lot of mistakes, run some bad routes, drops a lot of passes, fumbles. Like he's just not a reliable player. And so why is he going to be better in Cleveland? Like, I guess he's going to have better quarterbacking by default, like, cause Russell Wilson is so bad, but I mean, you can't really trust Deshaun Watson to stay healthy. So I don't know. I think this is way too much money for him. Amik Robinson, 2 years, $9.25 million. This is a decent move, especially, it's kind of cheating because we didn't get these terms until after Cameron Sutton was cut. The Lions had to cut him because apparently Cameron Sutton was he was arrested or a warrant was issued for his arrest for an alleged domestic violence by strangulation, and then he disappeared for 2 weeks. I don't know if he's been found yet. So it's very, very weird situation with the Lions cornerback from last year. The Lions signed cornerback Amik Robertson. This is before that whole situation with Sutton happened. And Robertson's coming off his best year with the Raiders. He wasn't great or anything. He was okay. But he's still young. He's only 25, so he can improve. So this helps that situation. But they still need another corner, I think. The Browns signed Devin Bush, $1.15 million. This guy was a major bust. The Steelers moved from 20 to 10 to get him as a replacement for Ryan Shazier. And he just didn't live up to his reputation. He lasted 4 years in Pittsburgh, which is frankly longer than he should have lasted. And he went to Seattle last year, and he was mediocre at best. He was not terrible, but he's just an underwhelming player. So he's still young. I think he's 25 as well. He's gonna be 26 in the summer. So he's still young. He could turn his career around. He could be a late bloomer. So I think that taking a chance on him is fine. And the last one, Seahawks signed Tyrell Dodson, 1 year, $4.2 million. So this is a guy who doesn't have much starting experience. But he started in the second half of last year, and he was tremendous. He was really good. A big surprise. So I thought he was going to get a bigger contract, but I guess because he doesn't have much experience, I guess teams are skeptical. But I love this signing by Seattle. The Seahawks lost Bobby Wagner. They lost Jordan Brooks, and they lost Devin Bush. They lost 3 of their linebackers from last year. So getting a linebacker is super important for them. So I love the signing. I think it's all upside, no downside here for Seattle. So Tom, any thoughts on these? And maybe on Jerry Jeudy or someone else?
Yeah. Hey, why do you say, since the Browns just acquired Jeudy, why do you say re-sign? Is that something with the way the contract works?
Well, they had to give him a new contract. This is why Denver didn't want to keep him, because his contract was going to be up after this year. So they had to give him a new contract. So I guess extended is the correct phrase, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, so they signed him and then they re-signed him.
They traded for him. They gave a 5th and a 6th round pick to Denver for him, and then they had to give him a new contract. So that's the reason why Denver traded him, because they didn't want to give him this new contract.
I got you. Okay. See, I asked the questions that no one that people are afraid to speak. I don't care if I look dumb. Where do you go to check all the contracts and stuff, how they all work? Is that on ESPN? Any of those regular sites, or I've never really, or
Twitter,
some people, some people be oh, he's a free agent in 2 years or something. How do you know all that? Where's the archive? What do you use? That's my question.
Past contracts, you go to spotrack.com. But these new contracts they give out, I just go to Twitter, and I follow Schefter, Rappaport, Palisaro, everyone, and just I'll type in the person's name, and then I'll be search for only people you follow, and so I'll be able to see the new contracts. But for old contracts, spotrack.com is pretty good.
Yeah, that. I'm saying, let's say, I want to see when Banchero on the Magic, how long is his contract, or when will he become a free agent at the end of it, or how does that work? Where, what did you call it? Spot Rack?
Yeah, I'll put it up right now. You go Spot Rack. So you have Paulo Banchero, aged whatever around. Then it has his contract, so you can see how much he's making. Then you have status. You have club exercise for next year. You have club option. Then he's a restricted free agent in 2026, and so you can see cap hit, percentage of league cap, yearly cash guaranteed. It's a great website. You can for every sport you have this. So
wow. Okay. Yeah, I always wondered where. I knew something existed, but I wanted to get your insight on that. I'll probably check that out.
Okay.
Because sometimes I'm not sure when it's this year I'll be a free agent after this year sort of thing. So no, that's a good reference. I'll definitely use that. Over the cap.
Yeah, over the cap I like for cap space, but I like Spot Rack better personally. Yeah, nobody in Buffalo is gonna miss Dawson. Really? Yeah, I feel like he played so well last year. Anyway, I want to get your guys' opinion on these book covers before we get to Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So 99designs.com. I have a message. Let's see. Never mind. So all right, designs. So this is the final round. We had earlier submissions. And so I wanted to go over these with you. Let's see here. So there were a bunch, like Rad Milica like posted a bunch of these. But let's start here, I guess. So this is Jerks of the College Years. He didn't fix this yet. This is like one of his early submissions. So I don't know if you guys can see this real well. Let me I guess I'll zoom in. Hold on.
Yeah, maybe scroll up a little bit because I think it's
Hold on.
The bottom of it is covered by our maybe zoom back out.
Zoom out. Okay.
And then scroll because it's hard to see the bottom.
I can't scroll, unfortunately. You know what? I can maybe no, it doesn't work either. Well, I don't know. I can I don't know if you guys can see this. So so this is basically Jerks of the Week, but from stories from my college years. And these are like a bunch of characters from the book. So Tom, you're familiar with Joseph Scarfman. This guy who wore a pink scarf and I had to save him from a spider. We have here we go, Fat Opera Message Man. And right here is Dark Disco Chairman, he was in our dorm the year before you, Tom, so you didn't know about him.
Oh, okay.
Acne Thong Girl, Professor Count Dracula. This girl is Phantom of the Opera, who is just like this extremely stupid girl who wore like tons of makeup and couldn't do Sudoku puzzles. She'd like try so hard and she just couldn't do them. And this is this football player here is used to be a quarterback of the team who I have a funny story about the Penn State football team. So I guess this is supposed to be me. It doesn't quite look like me, but so this is one submission, and it's not my favorite. I thought it was pretty good. So I'll get to we get to more of these.
I think that one, the depictions of the jerks is maybe the most accurate of those that I've seen, save for you. Like, I would say it doesn't look like that's the one that's farthest off, I would say, funny enough. But I think it would still work. Like so many times in like a dramatized version of something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to look necessarily exactly like you. I mean, but that's like the only one that's off based on, from what I know of the people. So like that, I will say that about that one.
Okay. So, well, we have some others. So this one is I don't know, it's by Designer's Dairy. Here we go. So this is the Joseph Scarfman with the spider, as you can see there. Dark Disco Chairman with the disco ball. Here's Acne Thong Girl. Here's this girl who looks super pretty. Actually, Phantom of the Opera girl was really pretty. I'll give her that, but she's she doesn't look like too confused here. Here's Professor Count Dracula, and here's the football player. Here's another one. This guy this is the first story in my book, is about a guy who stole my trash can in the middle of the night. This is in my junior year.
Like a lemon with a witch's hat or something.
It does, yeah, it does. I couldn't see. It was a guy who walked into my room at night and stole my trash can. I don't know what happened to it. Just this guy.
That was the year we lived next to each other, or is
that no? That's 2 years before we met. So.
That's weird. That would be creepy.
That was very weird.
I like on this one. I like how your name is on their vertical.
Okay.
I will say this one. I think I do really like. I like the design maybe better, but I would say as opposed to the last one, I thought the jerks were much more accurate depictions than these. But I think these still work too, because at the end of the day, you're really the only one that's going to know what they truly look like. So it's right. You're providing some context, and it would still definitely work. And I like the way the design is set up. So
yeah,
there's the positive and negative to both of the first two there.
Okay, all right, let's get to the next one. So I believe these are all by one guy, Rad Milica. There's the next 5 are by him, and so he posted a bunch of these. So this is Phantom of the Opera. This is the football player. This is Professor Count Dracula, who's he showed up to class drunk all the time. This guy's crazy. I have a big chapter on that guy. This is the guy who stole my trash. This is Acne Thong Girl, and this is Joseph Scarfman. I like this guy's art. And like there's a bunch of these, so I maybe go through some more of these, so you'll see what I mean. So he's so this is now Phantom of the Opera. This is the football player, same picture. This is I don't like this as much. This kind of
I was just gonna say I don't like Dracula as much.
Yeah. But here's our friend Fat Opera Message Man. And Acne Thong Girl, and this is Joseph Scarfman. I don't like he looks like angry here. Like Joseph was
Joseph Scarfman there looks he looks like he's gonna mug somebody, and he just happens to like pink.
Know. Right.
That's
this one I don't like as much. There's one more of this that I like better. Okay, so this is of course Phantom of the Opera again, football player, Count Dracula, shadowy figure, Acne Thong Girl, and this is Joseph Scarfman. This I like better of him.
of the ones of the last three that have the same setup, this is the one that I like the most by far so far of these three same designs.
Okay, and I think he has one or two more. Let me see. Maybe not. I thought he did. I really thought he did. I think. Hold on. There's got to be another one. Okay, yeah, here we go. This is another one with Fat Opera Message Man that I liked as well. But yeah, like so this design. So you said you liked the last one that he did, and I agree.
Yeah.
So this one you think is pretty good. I think it's pretty good too.
I think it's definitely the best. It would be between this one and the very first one you showed us. Not of these designs, the very first one.
Okay, I thought instead of this girl, I would have Fat Opera Message Man here instead, in like this picture.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Okay, Slew says he likes 4 out of 18 the best so far. This is 4 out of 18. Yeah. So it looks like you're in agreement with Slew. Love to. He says you should do a Goofus and Gallant like characterless.
I love Goofus and Gallant from the Highlight magazines.
Yeah.
Right next to the hidden pictures page. Yeah, and I think that's a good call. I think like the Acne Girl, like it works, but they look more like it looks more like she has boils. Like looks like she got burned. But it's like it still works.
She did have a very unfortunate face. Which is like it was weird. Like she's super pretty, but like she had like so much acne on her face that like she looked like she's like but I thought she's still super hot. Anyway, so there are 3 more we can get to. This next one is what are you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna comment. I like the last Professor Count Dracula the most on that one too.
4 of 18, yeah.
More than the one before. I think with the yellow background, Professor Dracula didn't. Yeah, that doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. He looks like he's like a surfer, sort of. There.
He looks like almost like a badass, just like, hey, I'm gonna pound all these beers,
like he's riding on top of a shark, like one of those pictures. Like, this one he looks. I mean, he definitely has like an Einstein-ish look to him, but he looks more. I think that one works so much better. Personally.
Okay. So. All right. There are 3 more. This is by who is this by? Current Design. So this is like a row here. So this is of course just Scarfman. Like almost, this looks like he's praying to the spider almost. Phantom of the Opera looks like
the opera looks sultry there. Holy cow!
I know. She was really attractive, but I talked to her on AIM one time. I saved our conversation. I posted it in the book. She's like, she's one of the dumbest people I've ever talked to. So she's like, the whole thing with Sudoku, like she used to have the Sudoku out like all the time in her classes, and like she worked at the gym too. She'd always have the Sudoku out, and she'd never filled it in. Like I swear, like she'd always have it, like, and I'd look like at the end of class or like when I left the gym, she would never fill in like any of the squares, like maybe one. Like, and she like I was like, this girl like just can't figure out any of these numbers. Like, what's she doing with these?
Do you think there's any chance that maybe you go, I don't want to spoil the book. Is there any chance maybe she was just like doing it for like visual purposes? Like, I keep myself busy. Like, I don't know. Like,
she had it out in class too. I don't know.
I'm playing a heavy devil's advocate here,
right? But even like, I don't like. Why would she have it out during work? Like, she like seemed like she's busy during work, like doing Sudoku.
What did you say? She worked at a gym?
Yeah, she worked at the front desk at the gym.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'd come in, like, swipe my card, and like I'd see her with the Sudoku, and like I'd leave an hour later, and like and I'd say bye because I knew her, and it'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
it's like bye, Christine, and she'd be like bye bye, and so like she still had the Sudoku out with like nothing filled in, and this is not just one time, this is like all the time. Like I've never seen her fill in the Sudoku spot.
You know what I think? You know what I think is strange about people that work at the gym?
What's that?
Like the front desk. They always say I mean, like 75% of the time, I opine that like when you scan your card, they all say like pretty much the same thing. Enjoy your workout. I'm telling you what, I don't think even when I was in good shape, I don't think I've ever enjoyed any workout ever. I dread every workout I've ever done.
Oh, I love working out. I love it.
Like for me, like, and I mean, also I'm not exactly the pillar of fitness either, but at one point I was, and it's just like, for me, I never, this is going to sound so stupid probably, but half of what I say does anyhow. But like, I was never, it's like in American Beauty. Remember you've seen American Beauty?
Yeah.
When Lester starts jogging with his neighbors,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, are you preparing for a race? I'm trying to improve your cardiovascular health. Are you just trying to like get in better shape, like in general? And he goes, I just want to look good naked. I always love that line. And like, that's the only reason I ever worked out, is like, I just want like girls to find me attractive, like as much as possible,
Yeah.
But, like, I hate working. I dread going to the gym. I can't, when they say enjoy your workout, I always kind of thought that was funny. It's like, I don't enjoy this at all. I mean, I'm save for a few instances of my life where I got like in really good shape and I was going like pretty hard at working out. I've never looked forward to it. So I always thought that was funny. Like for me, like, do you think I'm in the minority of that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, my wife's kind of like the same way. She wants to work out, but she doesn't like it. Whereas like I love working out. I think it's awesome. Like, I always feel so good afterward. And like, I don't know. I just like I just like the whole process of it. Just like it just feels good to me. And like, especially now, because like I can't work out now because with the two kids. Like, I've gone to the gym once in the past month. So and I'm someone who used to go all the time. Like when I was losing weight for my for the wedding. I dropped from like 210 to 165 because I went to the gym every day, like every single day, and I liked it. So I don't know. But like,
now there are when I say never, I mean I'm exactly, Mike. Well, no, it's like in 2008. Like I've done this many times in my life. I started running three or somewhere between 3 and 4 miles a day for 6 days a week. I dropped like 40 pounds in 2 months, and I didn't mind it. And I was just kind of motivated because I was seeing results too really quickly when I was doing all that running. So there were times like it wasn't that hard for me. So I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I didn't. I mean, I guess I did sort of look forward, but that's rare. That didn't last. I did that for about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't keep that up long term. Like I always struggle to do that. Like I'll get in really good shape for like 2 or 3 months and then just be like, yeah, I'm tired of doing this. Yeah. It's but yeah, I enjoy your workout. I always kind of thought like, yeah, thanks. Like I thought like maybe they're being like snarky or something.
Oh no, I
didn't actually think that. But go ahead.
No, I always like I do a mile in the pool. The worst part is getting into the water because if it's cold, especially. But then like once I get going, I don't know, I like it. So I just like the way I feel afterward too. But like, what do you think about this one? I'm not too crazy about it because like, well, this has to change. Like this Dark Disco chairman, like he was a super angry guy. So like he shouldn't be smiling here. Like it's not clear what Fat Opera Message Man is doing here.
Yeah, and like Professor Dracula looks like they're transitioning.
Yeah, it
even look like that.
Yeah,
it looks like an old woman.
It does. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this one. We have 2 more. I
mean, I think the art is good, but it's just doesn't fit with what you're looking for. I'm not. I don't want anyone to think I'm here like this sucks.
Okay, so Designer's Dairy, he made some changes apparently. It's because this looks like the other one. I don't know what change he made though, but this is like you said you like the layout of this one. It's the same one. But there's this one. So maybe I can zoom out because this is a little too big here. So here we go. So We have jerks of the college years. So this is supposed to be me. Here's Joseph Scarfman with Scared of the Spider. We have the football player. We have Acne Thong Girl, and we have Professor Count Dracula here. And then he did the back too. It's funny he did the spider. So he did the back as well, which is nice. So I like this one too. I don't know what your thoughts are on this one. I showed. Yeah.
I do like this one. Now I've seen. I think that's the closest depiction of you for sure, and I think it gets. Like you're not giving away. Like here's why I think this would work. But if you decide to go with the other one, it's fine too. There's 4 of the jerks on here instead of 6.
Right.
Wow, Slew and Mike, you're on the same page there.
How do I compare working out to a colonoscopy? Like I don't know. I always like lifting was always fun. I don't know. I was like listening to like upbeat music and lifting. Like I always
I'm exaggerating a bit. There are times where I've enjoyed it, but it's freaking rare. That's all I'll say. But okay. I like this one, Walt, because it doesn't show too many. Like it leaves more to the imagination. I think just this is why I think that this one works.
Okay.
The 4 people. It's the closest one that looks like you. Like Professor Dracula looks. I think maybe the closest to what I think he would look like.
Yeah, obviously you never met him because that was a professor I had.
Yeah, like they aren't completely in their environment in this shot, but there's enough context clue. Like there's just enough context clues so that like you could figure out who they were after you read it.
Right.
But it's not. They're not completely surrounded by their environment, and I think that works on some level for me. So, and it's out of the drawings of you, that's the one that's the closest, in my opinion.
Okay. So which one do you like the best? Is it this one, or is it we had votes for 4 out of 18, and then we had votes for the first one I showed you, which was 8 out of 18.
Yeah. So would you say you narrowed it down to 1, 4, and 8?
Yeah. Well, let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. I don't think I am. We had a redo of that. Someone redid that one.
Wait, go back to no, keep it there. Scarfman looks like someone out of a freaking Pixar movie.
It really does.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Yeah, he looks like someone out of Ratatouille, and that looks like freaking Tarzan.
Yes, Tarzan? It does. I think that's supposed to be Fat Opera Message Man. I'm not sure. But obviously this guy redid it. This is the design you like, but
right. No, and I'm not hating on the. I'm just getting. I'm not like picking on the designer or anything.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like the site because like this is basically a contest, and this is the original design of the number one. And then this guy. Okay, this is drawing. So yeah, these are the designs. So this is basically a contest. Like these people, the person who wins the contest is the person I pick is the one who's going to get the money. The 99designs.com. So I like how they set it up where like they compete with each other. Yeah. So they're kind of motivated to make changes and stuff. So we're down to 1 out of 18, 4 out of 18, and I'm going to change this out. I'm going to swap this out for Fat Opera Message Man if we go with this one, and 8 out of 18. And like this guy said, I wanted him to redo me and Acne Thongar. I wanted him to redo this, and this guy hasn't resubmitted it yet. So they still have 2 days to do it. So he might have there might be an update to this as well. So we have 1, 4, and 18, and 1, 4, and 8. Which one do you like the best?
You definitely, you're not going to go wrong with any of them. I don't think. I'm actually starting to lean towards 1.
1, really?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean,
I love personally. I love 1, 4, and 1 and 4 the best. I like secretly wish I could do like 2 versions of the book and have two different covers, but that would be double the money, I assume. So, and I don't know how like Amazon would even handle that. So, Yeah, I don't. I like 1 and 4 the best personally, but like if 8 redid some of the stuff, and I again I told this guy to make some changes.
Mm-hmm.
So if he makes some changes, then it might make the cut as one of my top choices. But again, he didn't
Yeah,
redo the changes yet. So yeah,
it's.
I'm down to 1 and 4. So I don't know what you guys thought.
I think
Mike says 1 out of 8 or 1 or 8. So Mike doesn't like 4. So
what? Let me see 1 again.
okay. This is probably best right here. Yeah.
Something about this. Something about the art, like whereas a number 4 they seem a little more in your face.
Yeah.
Like 1 seems more. Like I look at the pictures and I think this book, there's a better chance that I might find it relatable, because like they're not like, it's not so like in your face. Like a lot of them look angry. Like while the football player looks really angry there, it's not, it's you can tell like it's comically like angry in a way. I would feel like I could relate more to this book. I know I'm getting maybe deeper than I need to, than I would in 4. Like this is more like, I think this sends the message. It's just strange encounters you've had with strange people. And 4, it's like, remember like Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie? You ever see the episode with Poochie? Homer did the voice of Poochie the dog when they added the character, and like it's got to be in your face.
Okay.
Like they keep saying like he's got to be in your face, and it definitely will work too. But I don't know. Like I look at this and I feel like you're going to tell some stories about relatable situations that I can relate to. Like, oh, like I knew a weird guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like it seems more inviting in that sense, aesthetically, than 4 does. But
okay.
4 also, like you to counter that, I could say, well, 4 they look, like a lot of these people are very extremes of what they're supposed to be depicted, but you know what I mean? So there's intrigue to that too, that they embody the extremes of personalities or something adjacent. So there's like I said, there's intrigue in that too. Mm-hmm. And I like the art. So, but yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong, but I would say I'm leaning 1.
Okay, so Slew likes 4. Oh, so we have Mike likes 1 or 8. Slew likes 4. John likes 4. I think Love 2. I think that means 1. Cassandra says, I think. There we go. I think the football player front and center there is more on brand for you.
That's a good point too.
Yeah. Slew says the Sudoku girl on 4 is great. I like this art a lot.
Yeah.
And then Quacky judges the
book as much as I can, John. As much as I can.
Okay. Well, good point. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for the feedback. I'm gonna ask this guy to replace Acne Thong Girl with Fat Opera Message Man. And then I don't know. Well, it's either 1 or 4. I think I'm gonna maybe I'll ask my wife, or maybe I'll ask someone else. But like it's I think it's between 1 and 4 right now, because I think 8's out of the running, at least until he gives me an update.
Right.
So I think I have to decide between this and 1 and 4. So it looks like we're split. I feel like we're 3 versus 3, 1 versus 4. Mike says 4 is okay too. 1, 4. Yeah, that's where I am too. Yeah, I think it's 1 or 4 for me. There are too many errors in 8 right now. But like I said, maybe if they resubmit 8, then I'll like that too. But
yeah, I what Cassandra said really kind of swayed me there a little bit about being on brand, more on brand for you. But I mean, maybe you want to branch out and not, do something, maybe you want to do it that way. It's up to you. But
was the title Jerks of My College Years considered? I didn't know what to call this book for a while. My away message. So this is the whole genesis of the book was like, I used to leave up away messages on AIM, where it's just to talk about people on the floor. and they were long. Like people on AIM would be like, they'd leave away messages, be like, "Hey, I'm in the shower, BRB," you know. But I would like leave up like long posts about people on the floor, and I'd call like idiots on my floor, and then I'd like rant about these people.
I was one of the OG readers of these away messages. I remember reading many of these away messages, man.
I had so many people reading it that I had no idea, and like people would IM me, be like, "Hey, I don't know you, but I read your away messages." It was hilarious.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's how I do it. And then like I thought I'd do a long form of these, so I turned all the away messages into like long jerks of the week type of articles that I posted in the book. And so like I have so on the site it's called Jerks of the Week. So I thought like jerks of the college years. So like that's why I went with that. But I didn't consider jerks of my college years. It could be better, but yeah, I think that's why I went with it. Acne Girl could have a story arc. Yeah, I have a story about her. And like her best friend, Man Voice Girl, didn't know how to draw her, but she's it's like incredibly beautiful girl, but like she looked like that guy, the voice box guy from like South Park. Like she's like the worst voice ever to match with her looks. Like it was insane.
It's like you ever meet like one of those people, like you're standing in line at like, I don't know, like the Double T diner, and like there's like a 75-year-old like waitress comes up to you and she's like, "Smoking a non," you know, like sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
that's what she sounded, except it was like a man's voice. It was so weird. So yeah, I so many stories from my college years there. So I think you guys will like it. I think it's there's some crazy stuff that happened in my 6 years at Penn State, not 4.
Right. Well, I think jerks of the college years help. You know, it's the whole Walter universe. So it's referring to your college years just by saying that. You know, this is the Walter football universe, people. So
right.
No, I think the title's more than fine. I think it works. Like you said, jerks of the week of the college years, for sure. I think it's a fine title.
Beth Mallins. It was Beth. I forget. The name's familiar. The name's familiar. I can't picture it.
I live under a rock, John. They only let me out of my cage twice a week for this show, and then I got to go back. I don't know all these people. Beth Mowens.
She's the announcer for is she ESPN or something? No, this Man Voice Girl sounded like a man, like an actual like a deep voiced man. Like if you didn't see her, you'd think it was a guy. Like which is crazy because she was so attractive. It was insane. I thought you would have gone with Jerks of the Week, the college years, a la Saved by the Bell. That's a good one.
Yep. We don't want some copyright lawsuit on our hands here either, Cassandra, for stealing the title.
That's good too. Yeah, that's a good. I don't know. Maybe it should have been that. It's too late though. I already submitted it on Amazon, so but I don't know. It's whatever. It's fine. She does a lot of girls softball. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know who you're talking about now. But no, the Man Voice Girl was a man's voice. It's crazy. So yeah, thanks everyone for the feedback here. Really appreciate it. So yeah, it sounds like we're at a tie for 1 versus 4. So I'm gonna ask a few other people, and maybe we'll have more submissions from these people. They still have 2 more days to do it. So we'll see what we go with.
A lot can change.
That's true. Speaking of a lot changing, you watched Game of Thrones episodes 8 and 9. So final 20 minutes here, 15 or 20 minutes on Game of Thrones. So yeah, a lot has changed, and spoiler alert, of course, for a show that's been out for a while, and ended for a while. So episode 9, the first of 6 episode 9s, it's called Baylor, and so our dear friend Ned Stark, your favorite character, gets beheaded by King Joffrey. And pretty remarkable that a show or a book, actually the book first, but a book/show would have the guts to kill off the main character in season 1.
Yeah, and I knew, despite not having seen it before, I had heard that just through because everyone was into the show except me, pretty much. So I knew that coming in, that a lot of main characters get killed off. But I thought it was like, when you said that, I thought it was going to be like who was Aerys Targaryen guy, the blonde haired guy, Targaryen, right?
Varys, yeah.
Varys. That's Varys Targaryen. Yeah.
Oh no,
Like
Viserys. Sorry, not Varys.
Varys.
Varys,
Varys.
is the
Varys is
eunuch.
the professor
Viserys,
guy. Yeah.
yeah.
So I thought it was characters like him would get kind of killed off. I was like, oh, like that seemed pretty, he seemed like a pretty main character, but he wasn't that huge, like as part of the plot, like compared to others. But it was just like Ned, geez. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought there was going to be. I thought something was going to come out and like he was going to escape it somehow, or it was going to be stopped. So I think it's interesting at first, because Joffrey said to Sansa that when she asked for mercy for her dad, said that he would give mercy to him. Like, and geez, I'll tell you what, he once she came up to him, he changed his mind real quick. So what does that tell you? The power of boners is unbelievable, man. It really is. Like he was just going to completely like change his tune, but then he like double crossed it. He reneged on the deal once.
Yeah,
he was renegotiating there and went through with it anyway. But I was kind of surprised because didn't he just have to like go and convince Sansa that he still liked her a couple episodes ago? So
yeah, that was reference to his mom being like, go make nice with the Stark girl. The conversation that they had. So that was just him doing it. So you could kind of see the manipulation that Cersei has. But I thought it was more telling that he went against his mom's wishes rather than like, of course, like I don't think he cares much about Sansa because he doesn't have much respect for the Northerners. But like the fact that he went against his mom, like that, I think that was pretty telling. And so yeah, I mean you're gonna get to see what Joffrey is like as a king, and it's pretty remarkable. He's one of the great villains, I think, in TV show history, and like he did such a good job as being this real douche in this show that like the actor said the story once, and like apparently the actor in real life is like the nicest guy. From what I heard, but like he'll be like walking down the street. He said this before. He's like he's walking down the street and like you'll hear someone be like, "Screw you, Joffrey." Like, that's how great of a job that he did. That like people hate him in real life, even though he's like apparently the nicest guy.
That's so funny. Yeah, because I was literally just gonna say that. It's I mean, dude, he looks like this guy's a freaking punk. Just like he has the perfect face for the role. Like
He's like the most punchable face ever.
Yeah. It was perfectly cast. At least I think so far. But now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested to see. I did watch like the first minute. I thought maybe there was like going to be some sort of surprise where like they didn't actually cut. I don't know what I thought, but I haven't finished the season finale. But so what is Khal Drogo like? What's that the witch lady cut that horse's throat to? What's the? Is he gonna? Well, I don't think that he's that big of a character, other than the fact that she's gonna have his baby.
Yeah, the witch lady said that life has to pay for death, or whatever. Death has to pay for life. So she had to kill the horse to preserve his life, but then the Daenerys is gonna have the baby, so she went into this tent as well. So you have to wonder what's gonna happen there. Khal Drogo, I mean, like he was definitely a major character in season 1, but he's not like Ned Stark or anything like that, or even King Robert. And I like John says smart casting to have Sean Bean play. He did a phenomenal job. I thought Mark Addy playing King Robert Baratheon, I thought he was so good. I like just reading the books and just like I know I read book 1 after the show, but like I really read through book 1, and like just the way they wrote him, just like perfect casting. I thought Mark Addy did such a great job as King Robert too. So
I really thought so too. This is going to sound strange. You know who I think is a good actor is Stark's Catelyn or
Catelyn Stark.
Michelle
Fairley.
Yeah, her sister, the queen, or
Liza Aaron. Yeah,
not her. The kid. Oh yeah, the kid sucking on his mom's boob. Yeah, that kid's a weird pup. Like that kid's a weird fuck. So like, but like props to the actor, like that young actor. It's like really sold it. That kid gives me the creeps, man.
I want to see the Batman fly.
Yeah. Like he's
so
there's something really creepy about him. So it's good acting from that kid too. I thought.
I think it's great acting for almost all the characters.
Yeah. But that kid is one character. Like it's stuck with, they say like if you really hate the character, that means the actor is doing a good job, or and that sort of thing. So like same idea. Like it definitely, his character sticks with me. He's creepy. Like so like. It's like not for a good reason, but it's give props to the acting. But yeah, man, that song that Tyrion Lannister is whistling when they're walking through the woods in episode 8, I have to listen to it again. I know I recognize it, but I can't think of where I know it from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just as a quick aside. But who in episode 8, who was the guy that Khal Drago was fighting that he killed?
It was just one of his horse riders. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After horsing around.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you know what I thought? You seen Power Rangers, remember? Like the original Power Rangers?
I was too old for that. My sister watched it. I was too old for Power Rangers.
But you know of it.
I know, yeah, I know of it, yeah.
Okay. Littlefinger and Varys are like Bulk and Skull from fucking Power Rangers.
That's lost on me. I have no idea.
Oh, you didn't know Bulk and Skull? They're like the dim-witted, like they're kind of like the antagonist, but they like every time they try to plot against like the Power Rangers, they're foiled. It's like the gag of every episode.
Yeah, but except Varys and Littlefinger are controlling everyone.
No, it's not a direct comparison. Yeah. Just like that they're like, I was seeing them together. It's like they look like freaking Bulk and Skull over there. Like also like the body like the body types are similar. Mm-hmm. So it's just like it just made me think of that. Oh, I can't believe you don't know the Power Rangers that well. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you're not missing much, but no, but like you were right. You had told me earlier that you think that they're maybe the two most interesting characters, and I definitely agree. You don't know what their it's hard to tell what their real motive. Like they're definitely hiding things, and they know a lot of things. So I've been watching them a little more carefully. Because you told me that too, so it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, and I had a question for you that I posed to you before we started recording, and I'm wondering if you had any thoughts on it. Why? First of all, why do you think Varys kept visiting Ned Stark, and more importantly, how did Varys keep visiting Ned Stark in the prison? Because as I said to you, Ned Stark was he was criminal like number one in the capital. If you're Joffrey, this is a man who tried to unseat you and assassinate you. Like there is no way anyone is going to visit this guy or talk to this guy. So how was Varys able to visit him on not just once, on multiple occasions? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I have no idea, man. I mean, he's obviously up. He's doing something shisty, but I don't know. I'm not that far ahead with it. I'm like he definitely has some sort of ulterior motive. I think is pretty obvious.
Yeah, you hit mute. Okay,
yeah,
okay, there you go.
Yeah,
the hard hitting questions. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Carmen? Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I really don't know. I think he's clearly plotting something, but I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see. Am I going to find out in the next episode here in the finale?
You won't find out about Varys for a while. And honestly, I don't think they ever made it clear in the show how he was able to visit Ned Stark. Whereas like no other character was even capable of visiting him. But they did reveal it in the book. I think after book 3 or maybe even book 4, they did talk about it, and it's pretty remarkable. I don't even want to say it yet, but maybe you'll get a hint of it.
Wait, so is this like a Game of Thrones 101 question, or do you like formulated it on your own because you were wondering?
Well, I mean, I would find out, but I think it's really interesting. Like it just goes into how connected Varys is and like how devious he is as well. It's just really cool lore for the character. That's what I'm saying. Like I think it's just something like it's something you shouldn't know now. But it's like maybe it's something to think about, and like maybe you could like piece things together and eventually figure out how he's able to visit Ned in the prison.
Yeah, I'm really not sure yet. So I don't know. Sorry, I don't have more more to add. I'm just with a body like this, you don't get the brains with it sometimes. So
Well, I also in relation to that, do you also trust Varys? Because like
oh, definitely not. No.
even when he says like he's like I serve the realm, and he was interested in Ned surviving. Like clearly, if you watch that sequence again when Joffrey called for his beheading, like Varys actually rushed toward he's like rushed toward Joffrey and like tried to prevent it from happening. So like at least Varys was on Ned's side in this instance. So like you still don't trust him.
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay, well,
Definitely not.
so you learned something, not to trust anyone. Whereas
Well,
like at least like Ned Stark had not learned this lesson.
yeah. I don't know. There aren't. I mean, I would say Ned Stark was one of the only characters I trusted.
Yeah, I
So
mean
no, that's
he's too honorable, and in the show, if you're too honorable, you're not going to be long for this world.
yeah. That's oh man, I love. So what was it? I love that painted whore that Tyrion Lannister was with, the one they were playing that drinking game with.
Shay, yeah.
What was the story he was telling, that he was married before and then he found out that his former wife was a whore? Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, so the story was this girl was being attacked by rapists or would-be rapists, and Jamie kind of fought them off, and Tyrion took her back to an inn, and he obviously he's rich. He bought all these chicken. They ate all this chicken and stuff. And kind of like Bronn was impressed by that. And so they ate all this chicken, and then they went to bed with each other, and they woke up the next day, and then Tyrion asked for hand in marriage, so they got married. And I think the timeline was 2 weeks later. His father Tywin found out about it, and then Tywin he realized this woman was a whore, and so he paid all of his men he paid her a silver for each man who was going to have sex with her, as Tyrion watched. So a horrific story. Can you imagine like your dad ever doing that to
Yeah,
you? Like there's what a disgusting like human being,
yeah.
And then Tyrion said that Jamie set the whole thing up because obviously being someone like Tyrion, who like obviously when he's young he would lack self confidence and wouldn't be able to be with a woman, so this is made to like bolster his self confidence and stuff like that. So Jamie set it up to like give his brother like a chance at a woman, but Tyrion apparently took it too far and asked for a hand in marriage. And then Shay smartly was like, any woman who's almost raped isn't going to have sex with you like 2 hours later. And so yeah. So Tyrion was like, yeah, I was young and stupid. So
right. I think it's Peter Dinklage always plays. It seems like he has everything. Like I like Tyrion because he's so relaxed about things. But I think I mentioned this on the show before. Peter Dinklage, when he plays, what's the guy's name in Elf? You've seen Elf?
Yeah, great movie.
And Buddy keeps coming. He's like, oh, he keeps calling him Elf, and he's Miles Turner, I think is his character name. But I love this one line, like, because he keeps calling him Elf, and he goes, "Listen, I get more action in a week than you've ever seen in your entire life." That's because he's like a rich
right.
Like, it's probably true, but
Miles
I love
Finch,
that one.
Miles Finch.
Miles Finch. Yeah, what did I say? Miles Turner. Yeah,
Miles Turner. The center for the Pacers.
Yeah, I was watching the Pacers yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, Miles Finch. Yeah, I love that line, and here he is again. Same concept.
Yep.
So he's a character actor, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Did you pick up on who was in Tywin Lannister's tent? There was always one guy who was there with him, in addition to Tyrion. Did you? I don't know if they even mentioned his name, so I'm not like quizzing you or anything. Like, did you realize who that was? Because they mentioned his name before, but not when he was on screen. It's like a gray haired guy who's like he's probably in his 50s. He was always with Tywin in the tent.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
I know.
Okay,
Should
that
I?
is. I don't think you should, because I was like paying attention to that part and they never mentioned his name. But that is Kevin Lannister. That is the brother of Tywin. So Jaime, Cersei, Tyrion's uncle. But more importantly, he is the father of Lancel Lannister, who is the squire for King Robert, the guy always fetching the beer, the wine, and like looking for the breastplate stretcher, and the guy who gave wine to Robert during the hunt. And Robert eventually died
Right,
because he
right.
was too intoxicated. So that's that guy's father, Kevin Lannister.
Okay, I got you. We
So
haven't seen him since either.
yeah, you're about to see him in episode 10. I watched episode 10 because I thought you were going to. You're going to see Lancel in episode 10. You're going to see Lancel a lot in future seasons. You're going to see Kevin Lannister a lot in future seasons. So I thought they were like kind of important now. And the one time they mentioned him was when Joffrey was talking to Cersei, and he was like, "We're going to conquer the North. I'm going to install maybe Kevin Lannister as Warden of the North." That's like the one time he mentioned. He said Uncle Kevin, I think. So I think it is important to know who that guy was, just because like he's going to be more prominent in the future, and so is Lancel. So,
Oh, geez. Okay, so we're gonna meet a lot more new characters.
there's gonna be a
To get
lot
my
more characters. Yep.
get my notes out. Hey, you
Yep.
know who I really am starting to like is Fat Sam. You know he's gonna come through in the clutch for something later. Like he's gonna be proved to be valuable later.
Yeah,
For sure.
Sam Tarley. Actually, that actor is in a movie or a show that's about to come out. I think it's called Three Bodies on Netflix. I saw him on the like the artwork, the preview on Netflix. I was like, oh, it's Sam. So I was like, oh yeah,
that's cool.
so I want to watch that. I haven't seen him in anything else. So,
Yeah,
so yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it's cool, and I kind of figured this was going to be the case from the beginning, but like you can see he's starting to become more valuable, and like he's smarter than they all thought. Just because he was a self-admitted coward. Like he's slowly proving that, and like proving to himself too that he is valuable. So, so yeah, like I know that's gonna. I don't know when, but it's at some point.
Okay.
Oh, you love Sam.
Yeah. How can you not love Sam? He's like he's the lovable guy.
Yeah.
And that story is tragic, where his dad said he was gonna kill him on the hunt if he didn't take the black. So I guess like a running theme of like crappy fathers in the world of Westeros.
Hey, so why didn't they just kill Jaime? They captured the Stark's kid Rob, right? Captured Jaime Lannister there at the end.
Yeah.
Why didn't they kill him? They said he's better off alive. Why?
Well, I mean, they could trade him for Sansa and Arya Stark, because they're still stuck there, Whereas
okay,
yeah, leverage, yeah. So
that makes sense. I got you.
And this is why Joffrey made an incredibly stupid move to kill Ned Stark. Because like at least with Ned, you could have at least kept him in the dungeons. You didn't have to have him take the black. They could have just kept them rotting in the dungeons and just made sure you wouldn't have war. Because if you think about it, you have Renly and Stannis Baratheon, the two brothers of King Robert, who are going to make claims to the throne. So you're going to have to fight them. And then because you killed Ned Stark, now you're going to have to deal with Robb Stark as well. But if you kept Ned alive, you could at least have that as leverage and just kind of make peace with the Starks and say here like if you just bend the knee to us, like we don't like we can return your we could return Ned Stark to at least the wall, but okay. Joffrey, an incredibly dumb move, and now he's gonna have to fight like wars on two fronts. He's going to fight the two Baratheon brothers, and he's gonna have to fight Robb Stark.
Oh geez, so we're just picking up momentum here, is what you're telling me, huh?
Yeah, the book 2 is it's I think it's called Clash of Kings. It's the War of the Five Kings. So you're gonna have Joffrey, you got Stannis Baratheon, Renly Baratheon, Robb Stark, and then there's gonna be a fifth guy who makes a claim to the throne as well, or to the crown as well. Okay. So you're gonna find out about him. I'd spoil it if I said who it was. So
Okay,
yeah,
well done.
it's called the War. It's called the book's called Clash of Kings, but it's really the War of the Five Kings. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what season 2 is basically going to be about.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's getting more gripping by the episode. So, whereas at the beginning, I will be honest. If it weren't for us doing this on the show, I definitely would have given up on the show.
Really?
Oh, 100%, 100%. There's no way I would have made it because I watched the first 3 episodes like 4 times each. There's no way. Like if I was like, well, I'll just try this. There's no way I would have been done like after the first one. But I'm glad. So I'm glad that I was thinking about this. This is really cool that we're doing it this way because now I'm really enjoying it. Now I don't know that I technically put that same amount of time into like I don't want to invest that much time like in my personal life to, but because we're doing it for the show, I gave it more of a chance and I'm really enjoying it now. So I don't know, it's kind of funny how that works. Like, I mean, I had a lot to figure out, but it has definitely grown on me too. Because what would you call this? Like fantasy genre? It's probably like my least favorite genre.
Well, I mean, there's some fantasy elements to it, but then again, it's a lot of like there's a lot of like backstabbing and whatnot. It's kind of like House of Cards meets Lord of the Rings almost. It's like there's a lot of like political backstabbing as well. That's a huge part of the show.
Right.
And like I said, like the next season is going to be about who claims the throne between 5 men. So yeah, there is some fantasy stuff to it, like of course, but I feel like the bulk of the show, and in my opinion, the most interesting part of it is the political backstabbing. Yeah, and
right. No, for sure. I think I just found it overwhelming because for me, if I find a show overwhelming, which I mean, not that happens this often, but I found this overwhelming, and I think if I was just doing it to try it out without like going over it with you, I probably would have been like, this is more than I want to do in my free time. But
yeah.
but my point is, I'm thanking you because I'm glad I am really enjoying it now. So it's just kind of funny how it all worked out that way.
I'm glad you like it. I have one final question for you. I don't expect you to answer this correctly because I don't think you're quite there yet. I don't think most people who watch the show would have gotten this correct at this point. But it's a question I'll repeatedly ask you, and then maybe you'll get the answer as we progress through the show. So here's the question: who is Jon Snow's mother?
Oh damn! Tell me it's that witch lady, huh?
It's the witch lady. that'd be interesting. That could be. I don't think you would quite know yet. I think in the next few episodes, maybe you'll get maybe a clue. Because it's hard because I watched 8, 9, and 10 back to back. Just because I thought we were going to talk about it, but you don't watch 10 yet, so you watch 8, 9. I don't know if this clue happened in 10 or if it happened beforehand. But I think there is a clue so far that you may have gotten it, and I think like if you listen to the conversations between Ned Stark and King Robert, like you might get a clue in that as well. But not really. It's tough to figure out like at this stage of the show. But I think before you find out, you should know it because the story is like how these guys Bainoff and Weiss got to produce Game of Thrones is that George R. Martin asked them. He's like in the interview because like a bunch of people wanted to make the show. In the interview, he said, "Do you guys know who Jon Snow's mother is?" And they answered correctly, and like that's how they were able to produce the show. Whereas like other people guessed incorrectly. So like at least they figured it out. So yeah. So but that was after like 4 or 5 books. So but I don't think you may know at this time, but you might have an idea. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so just think about it as you're watching the show. Just think about it.
Sounds good. I will.
Yep. Okay. All right. I guess that's it. We're 2.5 hours in, so it's 2:15 a.m. So I need to get some work done before I go to bed, and I'm sure everyone has to do some stuff before going to bed too. So thanks so much for everyone for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for the feedback on the book cover. If you guys are watching this after we're live, in the comments, please let me know if you like cover 4 or 1. That's what it's come down to apparently. 4-1. We had a couple of votes for 8 as well, but 4-1. This is number 1. The other one that we had on the screen was just number 4. So please let me know. This is I have to make this decision within the next 48 hours. So just please let me know. And Tom, great as always to do the show with you. Always look forward to it, and it never disappoints. So always happy to do it.
It's always a great time. And hey, for those of you that are going to be up a little bit longer, as soon as probably 15 minutes after we're off here, I'm going to be doing a Twitch stream. So nice. Come on by, follow me on Twitter, and I post a link there. We're just going to be. I mean, I hardly even play. It's just me talking, and I occasionally play the game. So, but it's. If you like the show, you'll like the stream. So, awesome. Hope to see you there. Give me a follow, and love to hang out some more. Yeah,
I'll be commenting there as well. So yeah, definitely show up to Tom's stream. I'll post a link to it on Twitter. And by the way, Slew, thank you so much for the super chat, for the 555 super chat. Really appreciate it. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that mean a lot to us. We'll be back on Tuesday with Jacob, Wednesday with Kenny, and then Thursday with Tom, schedule permitting, for everyone. You know, I obviously don't know what's going to happen with everyone, but yeah, that is the plan for now. Once again, thank you so much, and I will talk to you on Tuesday.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right, bye.